And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internet, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I'm not sure where to start. First of all, the Iran conflict, war, battle, skirmish, whatever you want to call it, is still cracking. It is still rocking and rolling. May there be a ground invasion next on the island to open up the Strait of Hormuz. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, ICE at the airport. Oh my goodness, pearl clutching, as if they were not there already, as if they were not arresting illegal aliens, drug runners, human traffickers, and all that at the airport already. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, TSA still being unpaid, not able to feed themselves, struggling to get to work because the Democrats want to hold that hostage, all because they want to reform ICE. For what? Because you got one big bulldagger and one idiot got themselves deleted in Minneapolis trying to fight Border Patrol and ICE agents. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. And also, did you guys see the Amputee Madman? How you don't have all four of your limbs fully? You got kind of like nubs and snubs. Okay, you pretty much got ball joints at the end of your situation. You got tree stumps. You doing that? You got that going on and doing all kind of crazy activity. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, the Air Canada crash, tragedy, could it have been avoided? Who was at fault here? Was the air traffic control, the firefighters, the airplane? We'll talk about all that and a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing thus far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. There is a whole lot happening here. There's a whole lot going on, but I want to start with my thoughts on just how uninformed a lot of people are. And shout out to everybody who is informed, who know things, who read and learn for fun. Like, I like to learn something new every day. I am a tirelessly hungry student. I have an insatiable desire for education, for learning, for being able to grow and develop. But a lot of people, I don't know what's going on. You know, they say it's a bunch of NPCs out there. They walking around and it ain't nothing ticking upstairs. Okay, it's pretty much a blank, empty space up there. Their head, it ain't nothing going on. Maybe when they got a user brain, it might come into focus a little bit, a tiny bit. But generally, there's not this desire for learning. There's not a need for learning. But it's okay. It's okay because everyone's not gifted with that brain power. But this is where I come in. This is where you guys come in to teach the information, but it needs to be receptive well. Y'all know I've been trying to get on TikTok for years. I feel like I might be a little bit too, so I try to speak to them in the way that makes sense for them. And I put a video out, it's doing well, about why the TSA agents are needed why the ICE agents are needed at the airport to help TSA agents. And it's a really simple concept. I broke it down to where a first grader could understand. You could be 2 years old and it'll make sense. And no one could say anything other than it makes sense unless they've been brainwashed. But here's my explanation. I said very simply, if, let's just say, for example, I notice a random number. I'm not saying an airport has as many TSA agents. Let's just say for the math, let's say there's 20 TSA agents. And as it stands right now, before the ICE agents come in to help, 10 of the 20 are focused on screening. What is screening? When you go to TSA and you put your bag on a conveyor, back in the day, you had to take your shoes off. You go through the little thing, they pat you down. They might touch you in an inappropriate place, whatever it be. That's called screening, getting your bag and getting you through the checkpoint to get to your flight. That process right there. 10 are dedicated to the screening out of the 20, and the other 10 are doing more mundane tasks. They're guarding the entry and exit. They're doing other stuff that is not directly related to screening. Common sense says if you bring in more ICE agents to do the mundane tasks, you can free up the TSA agents to focus on screening, which would get you through your line a lot quicker. Rather than having 3 guys up front, you might have 4 guys up front, 8 guys up front, 10 guys up front. That make a line go a lot quicker. It's common sense. But people talking about, ICE in airports, that's in Project 2025. It's Project 2025. I'm like, y'all still talking about Project 2025? Is that what we doing? That ridiculous memo? the memo? And then, okay, here's my question to anyone who says that having ICE in airports is in Project 2025. Okay, let's just say you're correct. I'm not trying to dispute that, but why does that make it bad? And they also said that privatizing TSA is in Project 2025. Again, why does it make it bad? I don't understand. Do you know that ICE has been in airports before all this has taken place? They've been in airports. Hartsfield-Jackson. If you ever gone to Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, and I don't think I've seen it in other airports. I know I've seen it there because that particular airport is a big hub for human trafficking. It is the busiest airport, not only in Georgia, not only in the USA, but in the world. So it's a big hub for human trafficking, smuggling, and whatnot. So ICE is in there to prevent that. When you go into the bathroom, into the stall, close the door, it's a sign on the stall that says, if you are a victim of human trafficking, call this number. It says it right there because they know a lot of that goes down in the airport. So ICE already been there, not just at Hartsfield-Jackson, but all over the country. We're just deploying more ICE agents to help with the staffing shortages that is currently happening with the TSA, because the TSA are not being funded by the Democrats because the Democrats want to reform ICE. And until they can quote unquote reform ICE, which means control ICE, try to dictate how they actually maneuver and do their job, which is going to make them less effective. Here's my question. If the Democrats are the ones who have the border open, they're the ones who open the floodgates to the entire world, then why would you trust them to be the ones trying to dictate what ICE does? Obviously, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to run it. They don't know how to do anything that will actually benefit us as an American people, unless they think just having us awash in illegal aliens is good for us. That's all they can do. So how about they step aside and just let this funding go through? We're not trying to reform ICE. It's not need to be reformed. Okay, it does not need to be reformed. It's totally fine. We people in the USA, we the American people in the USA, we voted for Trump to come in and clean up the issue with illegal immigration, and that's what's happening so far. And truthfully, he could be a lot more aggressive, but he's trying to be nice and give y'all an olive branch. But you just want to slap his hand and act like it's nothing, like it's not even a thing that matters. You should take that and embrace it rather than trying to push forward. All you're really doing is just using the American people as a pawn in your game. If people don't like it, they're going to resent it. When they find out that it's you guys on the left doing it, that's going to bode well in our favor, and it's going to be totally against you. So I don't know what the Democrats are doing. The Android Hakeem Jeffries or whatever, all these people need to educate your people and tell them what's going on. ICE has been at the airport, and TSA should be funded. And if you're not going to fund it, and maybe even if you do fund it, maybe privatization wouldn't be a bad thing. Do you know that some TSA are privatized in this country? It's not all federal. Did you know that? There's a lady we're going to see later who says, yeah, my airport was fine because we got contract TSA. So we're not relying upon the federal government. So if TSA was privatized, then this would not be going on right now. There would be no disruption because the government could not use that as a pawn in the game, trying to get what they want with ICE. And even if someone thinks that's a valid reason to try and hold up the money, does not mean I agree. Okay? Your average everyday person in the airport is just trying to get to where they got to go. All this political stuff, oh, well, we got to, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, I do not want to be part of your protest. All right? You blocking, it's like blocking the road. It's like sitting on the ground. Okay, well, thank you for protesting climate change or whatever you're protesting today. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. But you know what? You could do that protest over there. Okay? You could do that protest over there and not in the road, because I am not part of it. I'm just trying to drive from point A to point B. I'm trying to go to the Piggly Wiggly, to the gas station, to the juke joint, to wherever I'm going. I don't want you in the way. I'm not part of your protest. Do that over there. That's how most of your travelers are going to feel when they're trying to get through the airport and it's taking them hours and hours and hours because y'all don't want to pay TSA. And God bless the TSA still coming to work. I mean, if you quit, I don't blame you. If you call off, I don't blame you. And also, shout out to Delta for removing that program that Congress had. If you guys don't know, Congress was given the privilege of being escorted to the front of the line when they fly. Okay, so they got something beyond TSA pre and clear check and all of that. They got something beyond that. They got the congressional privilege. They're like diplomats. They could do whatever they want, but no more. And that applies to Democrats and Republicans. Okay, because although we know it's the Democrats who are doing this, y'all all must suffer because we're all suffering as passengers, as the American people, whether we're on the left or the right. It's not like if you are a liberal, you get to get through the line, or if you're conservative, liberal, conservative, black, white, it don't matter. You got to stand in line. So shall Congress. It don't matter. Black, white, Puerto Rican, candy stripe, libertarian, Democrat, Republican. It doesn't really matter. You're going to stand in line just like us. And when you guys get this fixed, you get that privilege back. But only when you get this fixed. And really, for real, we're giving you a, kind of an olive branch ourselves. We'll let you just get through the front of the line because, you're Congress and you don't want to be mobbed or whatever. Okay, we're giving you that privilege. But you cannot get that privilege while at the same time making us suffer as the passengers. Look, I'm kind of a little bit, my patience, I'm a very patient guy. You guys may know we get some of these callers that act a fool, and I try to be patient as possible. But my patience, they try my patience. It's about that thing right there. Okay, one false move, I'm gonna just lose. I'm gonna go postal. No real threat. Anybody that's watching in the law enforcement. But seriously, I mean, enough's enough. I'm trying to travel. I got places to go. I got things to do. I got movies to make. I'm trying to be on these big podcasts. I got like a lot going on, but I'm not trying to be waiting in the airport for 4 hours and I missed a flight. That's just not what we're going to do. Okay. And we got fuel going up. So look, fuel's going up. So I would presume that the tickets for the tickets for flights are going to also increase. I presume. So I got to pay more for the flight and I got to wait longer times. And if I want to drive, well, I'm dealing with higher gas prices, $4, $5. I saw $8 out there in California and some change. $8. Now, you know what? I saw something on, I believe it was CNN, one of the commenters, and we'll get to that a little bit later. The commentator was saying, you know what, this is part of what the Democrats wanted with these higher gas prices because they want to make the internal combustion engine obsolete and they want to focus on electric vehicles. The problem with electric vehicles is that we don't have the capacity on the grid. I think right now they said, I forget the exact numbers or the exact unit of measurement. I believe it was megawatts. And one of these cities had like a draw of 3,000 megawatts, but AI alone, not even just EVs and EV stations, I'm talking about just AI alone is asking for 13,000 megawatts. So if you're going to have a big deficit and then you messing with the fuel, that'll further put a strain on the grid. We might have Cuba-style blackouts here if this whole thing keeps going with the war and with the demand that AI has. And speaking about AI, I'm going to say this. There are a bunch of people talking about AI will replace humans. It'll do everything that we don't want to do. It's going to be some revolutionary thing. It's like the dot-com bubble, in my humble opinion. Yes, the internet was revolutionary, but a lot of the things that they said the internet could do, it could not, or not in the way they said it could do. It was a lot of overvaluation. Okay, you had a website, gold.com or something. I don't know. Like a lot of that back then was just speculation. But of course, the internet was big. AI will be big, but there's some things they're kicking the can down the road on. Because how are you going to power the AI centers, the data centers? How are you going to make sure everything is working properly. You got to have fresh water in these places. They cannot have filtered water, gray water, salt water, because the instrumentation that the water will affect are very delicate and are sensitive to pollutants in the water. So you got to have actual drinking water that we drink. So imagine a place like on the West Coast where you get limited water supplies, a place like Los Angeles, a place like Phoenix, Arizona, Las Vegas. How are they going to be able to have data centers and water for the citizens to be able to drink and bathe and everything else? So it's going to be expensive. It's an expensive thing, AI. They're just undervaluing the cost and trying to pass it to you, the consumer. We see videos, people are saying, hey, my power bill done gone up a lot and I'm not using more power than I have before. What's going on? So they're telling you to rely more upon electricity, but at the same time, discouraging the electricity use because the prices are going very high because of the demand from data centers to power AI, which they say will replace us. I can't tell, not right now, because y'all are utilizing too many natural resources that we must use as human beings. It's one thing if you're using the thing that's in abundance and the human beings don't need, like, I don't know, maybe some rocks or dirt or something like this. Okay, break up a mountain and put that in there. Oh, what? You know what? That's called coal, but we can't do that, right? That's anti-environmental. But instead of us putting coal in the atmosphere and producing fuel for the trees, because the trees are going to consume the CO2, rather than us doing that, we're going to take the water that we drink. Okay, we're going to take the water that we drink and the fuel that we use to drive our cars. We're going to put that in that. Oh, okay. So the electricity, all of that we use, we're going to put that in that. Rather than the coal, rather than the rock and dirt, we're going to put fresh drinking water. Oh, okay. Now, how long is that going to last? How long is that going to be a viable alternative for us to use AI versus human beings? Now, some may say in the future things are going to improve, things are going to change, but when will that happen? We're banking on that happening. We hope that it's going to happen. We hope that when we get AI really up and running, it can reveal a thing to us that we don't know right now, but they're going to say, okay, you know what's a great way to get some energy? Put you in the pod. Shout out to the Matrix. I don't know, but at the end of the day, I'm not really sold on AI all the way. I think it's kind of a bubble. It can do a lot. It does do a lot, but to expand it, they're going to need a lot of natural resources that we don't have right now. They're already saying the grid is strained as it is. Even if the Strait of Hormuz was open, even if that was open, it would still be strained. And you want to put more data centers. You want to further encourage the adaptation of electric vehicles. If you have an EV, shout out to you. I'm not trying to hate on your EV. And by the way, the Cybertrucks, hey, they look amazing in person. They really do. Okay. Is it a gigawatt or megawatt? Y'all let me know. But anyway, shout out to the electric vehicles. I'm just wondering, how are you going to power these things up? It seems like what we use is more abundant and cheaper than what they want to use. We use the so-called fossil fuels, right? Your gas, your petroleum, whatever, your oil, we use that. They want to use drinking water and electricity. How are you going to generate the electricity? Coal, we're going back in circles. We kind of going back to square one. We're going right back to the beginning. They said coal was bad and they killed West Virginia for it. They killed all the jobs out there. Now the jobs are coming back because they say, oh yeah, we do need coal to power the power companies. Okay, we needed to power them because we got to power the grid some kind of way and get all these gigawatts, megawatts, electrowatts, whatever they call of power to people's homes. So how do we do it? How do we do it? If you guys don't like the Cybertruck, it's okay, but I like them. I think it's something different. I probably wouldn't drive a Cybertruck, respectfully. I'm not an EV. I'm not sold on EVs yet. I probably would rent one, but I wouldn't have it as my regular everyday vehicle because, hey man, the grid can go down and then what? You're pretty much out of luck. But you're going to have a diesel generator? How about I just have gas in the jerry can for a rainy day? Now, I saw some of y'all getting a lot of gas, trying to stock up. Ain't no point in doing that because if you got a true disruption, where you going to go? What you going to do with that gas? You might as well go to your bunker right now and just be ready. That's probably a better alternative, or have your supplies in the bunker already. That's what I would say. All right, but shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. Blue Lotus says AI is mostly overblown hype. I agree. It's mostly overblown hype. It can do a lot of different things, but it's not like they're trying to make it be the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, I'm just not necessarily too sold on that. Not all the way. Okay. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. But yeah, the amputee, hey, a lot of y'all sent me that story about the amputee that went crazy. Hey, man, how you gonna do all of that with no arms or legs? It's like, bro, but you know what? That's that crazy, you know, like what they say, the crazy white boy. That's him right there. Like, I think a lot of us who grew up in the southern kind of place, we know a kid like that. Okay, that just do stuff. It's like, bro, what are you even doing? Why would you do that? Why would you shoot your friend in the car? And then you overcame all these obstacles. You got nubs and stuff for arms and legs. You overcame obstacles. You should be an inspiration, but yet you can't get that CWB mentality out of you. It's just like a lot of these hood rat black folks. It's like, you got to get that mentality out of you. Okay, JD Vance, I love you. You're great, but you got a little bit of the CWB in you, a little teeny bit, and people see it. And that's why, again, Marco, whatever kind of issue he had, he's been able to work out. So I think he will be the next president, I hope, in 2028, because I don't want whoever the Democrats have to succeed in any kind of way. I don't want any Gavin Newsom in there, because I don't want California to be like the United States. I don't want California to be the blueprint for the USA. If you are the king of California, the grand emperor of California, and your state looks like that, beautiful in some places, but in some places it's the exact opposite. Okay, you got heaven and hell all in one place, and it's by policy that it's like that. You got the great part because naturally it's beautiful. There's no policy to make a place beautiful like the way it is out there in California, but it is a policy that will make beautiful places bad and once thriving cities bad. Los Angeles, a lot of money out there, big population, but hey, I got some big problems. Some big problems. A lot of criminality, a lot of fraud, a lot of just wild west stuff going on. Like I was saying before, a lot of the fraud in Minneapolis, Minnesota, it's a big thing. It's a big deal. But California, belly of the beast. I'm talking, it's just out there. Don't even care. You can do whatever you want in California. It's too much freedom. It's too much freedom to be able to steal. Like, it's one thing if you have freedom in general, okay. But then when you start to steal and that is considered a form of freedom, I don't get down with that. Just like they have where you can steal anything below $1,000 and it's not even a crime. How are you going to be able to do anything worth doing in a place like that? That's like somebody saying, okay, just loot our city to the ground and let it decay, like Oakland, which is a complete embarrassment. There should be no city in a place like California that looks like Oakland. I mean, good Lord. And if you're living out in Oakland, hey, shout out to you. Nothing against you guys in Oakland, in the Bay Area, but good night. I mean, that's real bad. I've not seen anything like that in the United States of America. In the lower 48, in Hawaii, Alaska, no, not even no American territory. Puerto Rico, Guam, nowhere. American Samoa, nowhere have I seen anything looking like that. That's crazy. Now, someone say, well, that's a black area. Okay, and I grew up in all black areas. Never, ever seen anything like that. We had houses, neighborhoods, communities, people walking their dogs. Okay, people hanging outside, playing sports. Nothing like you living in Mad Max where you got just complete blight and decay everywhere. That's just like, whew. Hey, man, if you're living in California, here's my suggestion. Become Elon Musk, be a multi-trillionaire, or have a lot of money. Maybe you're a farmer or something like that, living in a small town, live that life, or leave. That's what I would say. Now, if you're living in California and it's comfortable, God bless you. God bless you. Detroit's pretty bad, but Detroit is not as bad as Oakland. Detroit is actually okay compared to Oakland. Yeah, like there's nowhere in the USA quite like Oakland. You got some really depressed areas, some poor areas, rundown areas, but remember, I did a video about this when the TikTok viral chef, Keith Lee, he's not as viral as he was before, but he's still around. UFC fighter as well, or just an MMA fighter. But anyway, he was going from place to place, from city to city, doing like reviews of food. A lot of black areas. He went to Atlanta, he went to New Orleans and whatnot. But when he went to Oakland, he said it was so bad that he didn't put up any of his videos, and he decided to leave because it was too dangerous. People like living hand to mouth, just trying to survive. It's just, it wasn't a good place to highlight as somewhere to go out and get food. And like the culture there was so bad and so stressed and depressed, he didn't even want to show it. I'm like, oh my goodness. My. San Bernardino, have I seen San Bernardino? I got a cousin out there. San Bernardino ain't nowhere near Oakland. Yeah, San Bernardino's like, I don't know. California's, it's a funny place. California, Mexico. California is an American version of Mexico. Okay, it's North Mexico. How they say Mexico Norte? I don't know what I'm talking about. Mexico del Norte. That's what California is. So culturally, it's different out there. A lot of things happen in California and also in a place like New York. They don't happen down south. And this is why when people come to Tennessee from California or wherever they come from, they got to get, used to the culture. And when they cannot become part of the culture, they can't get used to it. Then they want to start making changes and doing little stuff and puffing their chest out. It's like, okay, you came from Calabasas to Brentwood, Tennessee, to Franklin, Cool Springs, or whatever. You came from there to there. So now that you're here, when in Rome, do as the Romans. When in Rome, do as the Romans. Have you guys seen that clip from the actor from Reacher? The guy who got into a little scuffle over the motorbikes, and that was in Brentwood in Nashville, the Nashville metro area. Why would you try to stand in the way of a guy on a bike? Like, what kind of behavior is that? Where they do that at? I've never seen anything like that down south, but people from other parts of the world, other parts of the country, they may not understand the basic ways that you communicate with people, how you resolve conflict. If I'm in the subdivision riding bikes, it's loud. Okay, that's fine. You can approach me at a certain point and ask me to go ahead and quiet down or not do that in there. If you got an HOA, tell them holler at me, put it in the rules. I don't know, whatever it is, you got to do that rather than just trying to run up on me. But again, when you're in different places where you're not used to the culture, you think you could do whatever you want to do. And it's not quite that way. Okay, not quite that way at all. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. A spike strip. You guys are funny. A spike strip for some motorbikes would be hilarious, but that'd be totally dangerous, and you would go to the penitentiary to make big rocks to little. But shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for joining. And shout out to everybody who was on the Instagram stream last night. I appreciate y'all for that. That'll be available Friday night, 8 p.m. on YouTube for you guys to watch, totally 100% free. And I'll put out clips from that all throughout the week. And if you have not seen the IG stream where you want to join live, I am live on Instagram each and every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I see what you said right there, Angela B, about robots in school. I believe I have that video queued up where Melania came out with the robots and was talking about that. Yeah, I'm not necessarily a fan of robots in school. If that's going on, then it's like, I don't know. That can be, I don't know how that's actually going to work. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But again, I think people are putting a little bit too much trust, a little bit too much. They're leaning a little bit too much on AI. I think we as people got to just do more things rather than doing fewer things. The fewer things we do, the slower we advance in society. If we just kind of chilling, getting fat, letting the machines do everything, then we're pretty much toast. It's pretty much a wrap. All right. Hold on. Somebody says Oakland, Alabama, Detroit, Alabama. What you mean? As far as the way it looks, Alabama is a growing place. What you mean? Alabama is one of the top growing places in the nation. Have you been to Alabama? Have you been to Birmingham? You been to where else? Huntsville? Have you been to Mobile? Have you been to Alabama? Like the Gulf Shore? Okay. If you were to ask me right now, I'm not from Alabama or from California. If you were to ask me, hey, ABL, where would you rather live? With And not just from the beauty, all of that. I'm talking about everything, the location, the beauty, the people, the expense, the weather. Give me Alabama all day long over California, because California, although it's beautiful, it has awful policy, bad weather at certain times, good weather most of the time, but other times it's bad weather because of the the earthquakes and the fires. Okay, that's one thing. And then also, where am I living at in California? Am I living on the water where it's nice and I'm going to pay $1 trillion? Or am I living in that hot valley where it's going to be fires and all kind of other stuff, where it's racist, where they don't like black folks at anyway? Or Alabama, where it's black friendly. They got all black towns. And if you're not in an all black town, it's okay. Just stay out of certain places that you have no business being anyway, and you be good money. Okay. Like, if you go into some random small town of 2 people, I mean, why go there? Go to Birmingham, go to Mobile, go to Huntsville, go to the big cities. In LA, cannot do that. In LA, they ignore me. In LA, I'm big, black, scary dude. In LA, they're racist against me. In LA, they're not going to serve me, but they're not going to do that kind of thing in Alabama. So my question to those who say, you know, Alabama is worse than Detroit or Oakland, California, go to Alabama and see for yourself. Go to Oakland and see for yourself. As a non-biased person, visit each place and then make a decision. All right, hold on. Jason Penny says, I'm from Northern California, and Huntsville, Alabama is where I'm at. 100, there you go. Thank you right there. My point proven in real time. Right there. Exactly what I'm saying. Anecdotal information, ABL. Yep, but y'all know what I'm talking about. California's great, but y'all got to tighten up. And Florida needs to make sure that it doesn't become California, because in many ways, Florida is a new California, where everybody wants to go. Everybody's moving there. It's a hot and up and coming spot. Because remember, at one point, California was a red state. But because everybody from all over the world came there, they flocked to California. They made a once great red state into a blue state. And that same thing happened to Virginia. And also, it can happen to Florida. So hopefully, my Cuban people, or my Caribbeans down there in California, or my Black Americans, white Americans, all the Americans will keep Florida red and don't allow it to fall into the clutches of the Democratic Party, of the left, of the communists, the way that Virginia and California did. All right. Tuskegee graduate here. Alabama's beautiful. Shout out to Tuskegee. Okay. And y'all know me, West Virginia. Booker T. Washington is from my same place. Okay. He taught Sunday school at my ancestors' church, African Zion Baptist Church, Malden, West Virginia, in the 1850s, I believe. Okay. And then he went, of course, to Tuskegee and started that school down there, and also to Hampton to start Hampton University. That's 2 HBCUs that one man helped to be able to get up and running. All right. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for being here. Robert Bray says HBC college here. Hey, shout out to the HBCs. Bama says no vacancy. Hey, I'm trying to tell them Alabama is booming right now. California losing people. Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Tennessee, Texas, booming. North Carolina, booming. The South shall rise again, and in many ways it has already risen again. Player says, I'm hoping that for my state, seeing all the Cali people moving here, hoping I don't start seeing things slide that direction. Hey, I get it. I totally get it. Creminian says, I went to Space Camp 83 in Huntsville. True story. Right on. Because ain't that where NASA is, right? In Huntsville, Alabama, in the northern part of the state. So, yeah. Shout out to, South Carolina, of course, booming. All these southern places are booming, but your northern places and your former, it places, California, Chicago, Illinois, specifically, New York, people are leaving. High taxes, weather's crazy, bad governance. It's all a big mess. Okay. And then, yes, Governor DeSantis most certainly doing a good job. Jackie Fowler says Muslim group from Nashville just purchased property in northern Lawrence County, Tennessee. Super small town. We have quite a few Amish in that community. Interesting. I think the Amish are definitely going to fight against any kind of encroachment into their culture. The Muslims may just do their own little thing. The thing about Muslims, okay, I'm talking a lot, but I'm gonna just land my plane, then I'm going to get to the videos. But the Muslims, the issue with them is that they don't really ingratiate themselves in modern culture. I mean, they do to a certain extent, but sometimes they just don't. And the problem with Iran, Afghanistan, Bhutan, all these places is that they have the mentality of it's still the year 700 AD. Newsflash, it's 2026. And your Arab neighbors, your Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, they want to move forward. They want to develop. They want to step into the 21st century. Meanwhile, the IRGC, all these people, they still stuck in their Stone Age. They're just getting in the way. 20% of the world's oil supply goes through the Strait of Hormuz. And it's not just for us, it's for the whole world. The Philippines right now suffering. All of Southeast Asia right now is pretty much scrambling because their supply of energy comes from right there. And if it's not coming through, it's like, what do I do? I'm pretty much out back. Do you know that 80 to 90% of East Asia's LNG, liquid natural gas, comes from Qatar? 80 to 90%. So if they're not getting that, it's like, what do we do? We pretty much out of luck. If you have industries or anything that depends on that, there's nothing you could do about it. You're going to have blackouts like Cuba. Anyway, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. Again, you guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Also, before we get rocking and rolling, shout out to the sponsors. You guys, of course, are the first sponsor. Thank you to you guys for doing what you do. But also thank you to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will always be in the description, or just type patriotpost.us and tell them that ABL sent you. Also, please go to my my merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the front page of the website. ABL merch, ablmerch.com. Also, please go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website, and for each long form video that I produce, I will write an article, and in each article, we got sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the Democratic, Republican, politically agnostic, local, national, international, whatever you want. I got it right there on the front page of the website, anthonyblogan.com. Again, ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. There you're able to find my email address, my email address, my UPS box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagrams, Twitter, never going to call it X, TikTok. All my links are right there on the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. And as I always say, if you ever think you're conversing with me on the interwebs and not, you're probably not. If you did not email me first, and the email's on the contact page of the website, contact@anthonyblogan.com. If you didn't email me first, it's not me talking back at you. It is someone trying to scam you. So don't believe what you see in the comment section or your DM or nothing like that. It's not me trying to reach out to you. It is a fraudulent person. It'd be a guy from Indian subcontinent. Okay, no flip-flops, long sleeve shirt, dirty, Slumdog Millionaire. It's going to be him, head bobbing. It's going to be that guy. It's going to be a guy over in Ukraine. If he dies, he dies. Big jaw, Ivan Drago, Vladimir Putin, Volodymyr Zelensky, a guy like that, okay, looking like Dolph Lundgren, Street Fighter, Guile. It'd be that guy trying to scam you. Or it's going to be a guy over in West Africa somewhere, like the Ghanaians. And you know what? To my Ghanaian brothers and sisters, how dare you try to get money from us? Reparations. Why? Reparations. Did y'all see where the Ghanaians, and I'm being serious, did you guys see where the Ghanaians came out and led this UN, it was a UN resolution that was made to have all these nations condemn the act of the slave trade. And the Ghanaians are asking for reparations from the USA. It's like, whoa. Don't you know you were complicit in that? You were the one that sold the slaves to the white man. You captured them and you sold them to the white man. Now they try to get money for that. You were paid already. Do not give me no that. Hey, y'all got paid already. Okay, y'all got paid already for the slave trade. So, hey, to the Ghanaians, if you think that you were harmed with the slave trade, I'm sorry. You can't say that because you guys were complicit. You guys sold the slaves to the white people and to the Arabs and probably to other African tribes. You did that. Now you're harmed and you want a check from us? So let me get this straight. Whatever cash you made from the slave trade at first wasn't enough. Now you want to get paid for selling us again? And you want us to pay it? You know what? Y'all tripping. Hey, the whole right to return was a scam. And since the coffers are getting low, you got another scam. I will never pay you 100 cents. Not the shiny green dollar. I would never. I won't pay you 1 cent of my monies. All right, I'm done. I'm done. But yo, to the Ghanaians, y'all big tripping. Reparations from us? You are smoking crack. You are on crack. I beg you. Idiots. Hey, I know that was a Nigerian accent, but it don't matter. It don't, the Ghanaian, Nigerian, it's West African. Okay, tomato. I mean, what we talking about? It's like the Ukrainians. Oh, we're not Russian. All right, whatever. All right, Vladimir and Ukraine, whatever you say. Don't worry about it. Okay, the Chinese. I'm Chinese. Okay, you and Jean-Paul right next to you look the exact same. I can't tell no difference. Okay, I can't tell no difference between you and the Tibetans and the Uyghurs and the Koreans. I don't see no difference. It is what it is. Okay, now once you go to Vietnam, it's a little bit different. And Philippines, obviously. But Beijing to Seoul, I can't tell. From Ghana to Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Cameroon, a little bit of difference in Senegal. But that right there, them people, it's all the same. But anyway, now let's get to some gas prices. We got some crazy high gas prices in California because we got the war going on and they're blocking the Strait of Hormuz. And they're not just blocking it, they got a toll on it, which is crazy because it's an open waterway. It's a natural waterway. It's not like the Suez Canal or the Panama Canal where it is a thing that they were making, that they made artificially, and they got to do upkeep on it. It's just a shipping lane that naturally exists. But they put a blockade up. And if you are not the U.S. or Israel, you could pay 2 million yuan to get through it. Not dollars, but yuan. So they're trying to be funny with that. But anyway, let's watch this. Let's get some sound right here. And let's let it rock.
They weren't lying, guys. It's real. People out here taking pictures. They don't even believe it. $8. $8.21. You might as well get you a horse. Feed us May. They weren't lying, guys. It's real. People out here taking pictures. They don't even believe it. $8. $8.21. You might as well get you a horse.
$8.21 for regular and $8.29 for Supreme. And what's that say? Is that diesel $8.29? Listen, I mean, at that point, you might as well just stay at the crib. I mean, I don't know. Figure out how to fly. Try to manipulate time, space, and learn how to fly. Because that right there. Now, again, someone may say this is all part of the plan in a place like California because they don't want you to have your internal combustion engine vehicle anymore. They want you to have your electric vehicle. The problem is they're going to tax the grid to the point where you're not going to be able to have anything. How are you going to have an electric vehicle when the power is not on at all because of the drain that AI has on it? All right. That is California, if you didn't know. Of course, where else would you have gas that's that expensive? Now, it is high other places, but California is crazy. Now, this is Thailand. Okay, Thailand's having an issue with the gas. It's like no gas available because they're not getting their shipment from the Strait of Hormuz.
Des stations vides faute de carburant.
Okay, we're just speaking in French, but you can see what's going on here. All right. So people are trying to find gas. It ain't a whole lot to be found because of the issue with the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, let's see if anybody's speaking in English. Probably not.
À quelle heure le saurez-vous?
All right, so that's what's happening. They're trying to get some gas out there. They're not able to get it. Let's find something in English. This is in India. Okay, this is in India. It says police have been deployed to petrol stations in the Indian state of Gujarat. I know I'll tore that up, but it says they did that to help manage long lines. Sounds very familiar, but anyway, let's watch. Okay, no English here either, but you can see what's going on. Everybody's queued up on their bikes, trying to get some oil. Again, a lot of Asia is fueled by what comes from the Strait of Hormuz because it's right there. All right, let's see if you speak in English or not.
And people also are helpless.
All right, you got a little bit of English.
Long people are waiting in petrol pump from day and night, and people also are helpless, but they can't speak anymore.
It says India sources more than 40% of its crude imports and 90% of its liquefied petroleum, just like I was saying from Qatar, gas imports through the strait. Okay, no more English. That was, grand opening, grand closing of the English. But you can see what's going on. There's a problem because the strait is closed down. And the strait is open to maybe in India, but they got to pay 2 million yuan just to get one tanker to come through. It's ridiculous. All right, so we got fights happening, civil unrest at the stations. I mean, that's bound to happen. You see everybody got their jerry cans and whatnot trying to get some gas. It's just not enough. And that can happen. We saw that. We saw some of that happening during the time where the food stamp card had got taken offline for like a day. I remember that experiment they did. They took the food stamp card off for like a day or two or half a day or something like that. And that amount of time, there was chaos. There was pure chaos. And the chaos that happened wasn't even as bad as when they took TikTok offline for like a half a day. Y'all remember the great TikTok eclipse, the great TikTok outage? It lasted for like half a day. And the complaints, the worry, the anxiety that came from that was like they didn't shut the whole world down. Like the sun stopped shining. It's like the world is okay. You still breathing, you still got your arms and legs. You still got everything. You still got your mind, but that TikTok's gone for a minute. They lost their mind. Okay, now we're going to Australia because they need that same oil that Asia and everybody's getting too from that same place. So if the strait is shut down, Australia is going to be in a bad situation.
Take a look at those bowsers. You can see that every single one of those has either covered up or they have a sign on it saying no petrol. Everything is out of service. There is no fuel whatsoever here at the Ampol in Cherrybrook.
On getting fuel to where it needs to be. From Queensland to South Australia, nearly 250 service stations are out of diesel. Those who can get it are paying dearly.
We use approximately 30,000 litres a month. It's $1 a litre dearer than what we paid 3 weeks ago.
Surging diesel costs hurting the transport sector too. Unions demanding government intervention to ensure drivers are compensated.
Take a look at...
All right, there we go. So when you're talking about what Iran does, it's not just the USA. It's the whole world that will benefit and or suffer. And let's be clear, the gas that comes through the Strait of Hormuz is not necessarily from Iran. It is from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Kuwait, all of those nations right there, Iraq. All those nations produce their oil, their LNG, whatever, and it goes through the strait that Iran controls because they have the geography advantage. One piece of this peninsula is Dubai. Like on this side is Dubai. On that side is Oman. Well, this side is UAE with Dubai right here. And that side is Oman. But right here, that piece, that's Iran. And they got an island right there in which they are launching a lot of anti-tanker attacks to keep the strait under control. And they put mines in the water, and you don't know where the mines are until you hit it. Anyway, let's keep on rocking and rolling here. So we got guys stocking up. I believe he is over in Australia. Look at their gas. They got 98, 95, and 91. Must be nice. It must be nice. Hey, in my F-150, you get an A7 regular. Hey, it's fine, though, because we built for it tough. I put the A7 in there, and ain't no problems. I think I'll get 500,000 miles easy. Anyway, let's watch the hoarding of gas out there in Oz.
You gotta be kidding me, mate. Hey, you gonna leave anything left for me? Hey, don't take all that fuel, mate. What about me? God damn it, man. He's leaving nothing. He's taking it all. Greed. You greedy man. You greedy man.
All right, there we go. So, I mean, I get it. I understand why people are trying to do stuff like that, where there could be tensions, but I think we'll be able to avoid any kind of mass outage situation. And if you have that going on, the civil unrest will be worse than what a war could be, even if it was a ground invasion. And that could happen. Did you guys see where they're talking about the Army has a age, they've heightened the age requirement. I mean, the age limit. I think it was 34, now it's like 42. So if you got guys that's my age, they might have already served, they might want to go back in. Do you guys think there's going to be a resurgence of the former Iraq guys that went in like 02, 03, 04? Will these guys come back to get Iran? Because I know a lot of military guys for years have been telling me privately, Iran's a problem. We got to hit Iran. We going to Iraq for what? They tell me they got to hit Iran. This was, I've been told this years ago, years and years ago, they were telling me this. So do you think some of the old guys that's like my age in their 40s, do you think they're going to re-enlist? I saw David Goggins went back in and he's in his 50s. And I don't know how he did that, but he went back in. So what do y'all think? I mean, if I get drafted, then so be it. You know what I mean? If I get drafted, I'll fight here. If I was young, I would sign up because I have confidence that they'd be able to do it. But I'm old. I'm like right at the limit. All right. So what do y'all think? Y'all let me know. Okay, let's keep on rocking and rolling here. Now they're walking to work in the Philippines because of the shortage of fuel. Hey, if I have no gas to put it in my car and they can't fuel the buses or whatever the case may be, then what am I to do? All right, there we go. You know what? Thinking back on it, I would have loved to have been a military officer or something like that. That would have been any kind of leadership role I would have enjoyed. I would have signed up if not for the fact that 9/11 just happened. In high school, I'm a senior in high school, 9/11 happens. Like, that was an option. Military, I was like, nah. Because of that. I'm like, no. Because I know automatically I'm 18. I'm 17 years old in 2001. So I know I'm going to be 18 years old. Hey, put this big black dude in the front of the line and I'm going to go ahead and get hit first. But if I would have thought about, hey, try to be an officer or something like that, then that might have been my path. Who knows? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. If you're young out there, y'all let me know what you want to do. Now, here's the piece on CNN I was talking about where they were saying that maybe this is on purpose to have the gas prices go higher.
It's going to be a big blue wave. It already was going to be before the war in Iran. And this is the most visceral change that we've seen so far. When I drove to the airport today, I passed by 2 gas stations, and I was paying attention. American families are paying attention to this.
They are.
I'm old enough to remember when Democrats were advocating for higher gas prices to bring about the end of the internal combustion engine.
You only have to be 5.
Now, all of a sudden, gas prices are.
Wait, which Democrats said I want
gas
higher gas
prices
prices?
matter.
Literally all.
They said
of them.
I want higher gas prices.
Yes,
And
literally.
gas
that was the
prices
stated policy to drive prices up to get rid of the internal combustion
Gas
engine.
prices.
It's going to be a big blue wave. It already was.
All right, there we go. So, hey, what do y'all think? Is that a thing that could be the case where they were just wanting the gas prices to be high because they wanted to remove the internal combustion engine in a place like California specifically? Because we get high gas prices all over the country, but $8, I mean, good Lord. Goodness gracious. So that's the whole thing about, the military. If they wanted me for my skill, like if they wanted me to do something like leadership, I don't know, something like that. But fighting on the ground, I'm a little old. I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a little old. If I was young, it'd be different. But I would most certainly lend my skill and my assistance. I think that'd be what David Goggins does. I don't think do you think David Goggins at 55 years old will be in infantry or something like, hold on, how old is he? David Goggins is 51 years old. Okay, I don't see him going out there and actually fighting because he's 51 years old. But if he has joined, then shout out to him. Now, here's more on the Strait of Hormuz. I just want to show you this. You see, right there, this area, that's Dubai. On the west of this peninsula, on the east, you have Oman. And to the north, you have not Iraq. To the north, you have Iran. And that island right there is Karg Island. So there could be a U.S. ground invasion right here. And the purpose would be to free up the Strait of Hormuz. So that is what you might see next. Let's watch some of this. And I'm going to do a video on this particular thing in full.
Here for 3 strategic reasons, I think, that we'll get into. First, because so far the main weapons that Iran has managed to hit commercial oil tankers with are short-range unmanned surface vessels, or USVs. They're cheap and they work against targets that are naked and defenseless. According to naval expert H.I. Sutton, he believes these seaborne drones are responsible for most of the damage done to tankers in the contested waterways so far. But these weapons have the downside of needing to be launched from close proximity near the shores. Take a look at this section of the Strait of Hormuz here. Notice how there are multiple tiny islands. You've got the Hormuz, you've got the LaGuardia, and most importantly, the Qasem Island. This is where the headquarters of the IRGC's deep underground bases are located, and it's where they launched these attacks from. Why do they need to hit from close range? Because oil tankers move at about 18 miles per hour or 30 kilometers per hour, which sounds very slow, but it's fast enough that they're difficult to target from long range. The reason for this is Iran lacks GPS guidance and they lack the type of sophisticated seekers for hitting moving tankers. There is a misconception that Iran is blocking the strait when it's more accurate that they're simply making it too dangerous to use for ships aligned with the United States. If only 3% of Iran's munitions hit ships, that's still too high of a risk for commercial shipping to accept. These munitions are depending on old school radio waves, basically. It's a cheap, dirty, effective method, but it forces the IRGC to get into a close range fight. Strategically, what that means on the bigger picture is that the US military doesn't need to clear the entire country of Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
Just that piece right here. Just really right there. That's all they got to do. But if that happens, now we got a ground war. So that could definitely prolong this. And if this incursion that we got going on lasts longer than summertime, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a big problem. But the primary focus of anything that we do should be to get that strait open, because if that's not open, that's going to impact the whole world in a negative way. All right. And now here's Gavin talking about how there are a bunch of Iranians in California and they were cheering in the street when they got the Ayatollah Khamenei and everybody.
And don't get me wrong, I have the largest Iranian diaspora in the United States of America, in my home state. People were celebrating on the street that the Supreme Leader was dead. I understand that. And don't get me wrong, I have the largest Iranian diaspora in the United States of America, in my home state. People were celebrating on the street that the Supreme Leader was dead. I understand that.
Right on. So he knows what's going on. Lord. Excuse me. I don't have allergies, but I may sneeze a little bit. But I have no allergies. Thank God. A lot of y'all got allergies. The pollen is killing you, but I'm pretty much good. I'm pretty much good. It's not really a big deal. Being in Virginia is like my whole life, being in areas where you got trees and whatnot, it's nothing to have pollen all on my face. You go to your car, it's looking like a lemon pepper Atlanta hot wing. It's straight pollen all over it. You wash it every day. The next day it'd be back pollen again. But a lot of people are suffering, especially out here where I live, because it's a valley. So the pollen just kind of sits in the valley and it irritates your system. But for me, for the most part, I'm good money. And some of y'all might need an air purifier for your home. I don't have an air purifier. I thought about getting one, but I don't. I have a I changed my air filters in my HVAC, and I keep my home clean. I dust my home and things of this nature, so I don't get the dust mites and the pollen and all of that, and the dirty air and everything competing for space. And also, one thing that I do that you should think about is driving with your windows down whenever possible, because when you driving windows up, you at a certain point are getting a certain level of CO2 or whatever. A little bit too much pollutants will get into your cabin. And if you got a dirty cabin air filter, it's even worse. But anyway, this is going to be the father of Tyler Simmons, one of 6 crew members killed when the refueling plane crashed in Iraq.
I know.
I don't believe it was an attack. I think it was just an accident where it basically was a plane crash. But it happened during this particular conflict.
I know they had no media there, which was the families, the wish and stuff. But the president was there and the defense secretary was there. And I thought I heard you say you were all the families were in their own area.
And there were also a myriad of generals, lieutenant colonels, high-ranking officials, senators, congressmen. I can't remember all their names.
So when the president and the defense secretary came up to you, what did you talk about? I mean,
I was the first person, right out the bat, looked President Trump in the eye and told him, well, he said, yes, Mr. Simmons, I know who you are. I said, Tyler Simmons was my only son. He paid the ultimate price. And much to my pleasant surprise, I saw emotion in the president's face. Because usually when you see him on television, he's just being the stern leader. I get that. But his humanity showed in that moment. He said, I can respect the man that can look the president in the face and tell him exactly what he thinks. And I think it's one of the few times that he had to look up. Because actually, President Trump is taller than I thought. Just expressed his condolences and thankful for Tyler's service. Because that's all I wanted the focus to be, was Tyler. And the premise of all of them coming was for them to give their condolences to the family.
Right on. So shout out to him. Again, this is the father of Tyler Simmons, one of 6 crew members killed when the refueling plane crashed tragically in Iraq during this operation that's happening right now in the Middle East. So may Tyler rest in peace. Prayers out to the family. Shout out to the dad for coming on TV and giving President Trump his props. He's like, you know what? I appreciate you for expressing yourself. Like, he was somebody that's, think about a guy like Trump and guys like him. People appreciate the accessibility and the humanity in a person who's in leadership roles. And he mentioned his height too. That's a thing people don't really, it matters. Now, Marco might be the first 5'10" amazing president. He might be the first 5'10" amazing president. So shout out to, again, the father of Tyler Simmons. All right. Now, the whole Cuba situation. Have you guys seen a lot of these influencers going to Cuba? Now, If you do something like that, you go to Cuba, you talking to the Cuban government, which Hassan Piker, Chuck Yogurt's nephew, said that they were. If you're doing stuff like that, you will most certainly be looked at by the federal government. Even if you don't get questioned right away, they will look at you because it's going to be totally sneaky and you could be a security risk. But let's check this out. This person claimed to have been stopped once they got back from Cuba in the airport.
I was just detained while coming back from Cuba to the United States. A clear violation of my rights as an American citizen to travel freely, and also in an attempt by the Trump administration to intimidate me as someone who traveled to Cuba in support of the Cuban people to show my solidarity at this critical moment. Because I made educational videos about my experience on the ground in Cuba, CBP and DHS targeted me, brought me into a room to interrogate me, and tried to scare me out of my solidarity with Cuba. But psych, it didn't work. Honestly, this only makes me want to stand with the Cuban people even firmer, especially while the Trump administration is tightening its stranglehold on the Cuban people, supposedly in our names. So this is exactly why we need to continue to talk about Cuba, why we need to understand what the U.S. is doing to people in Cuba, people around the globe, imposing sanctions, imposing blockades, literally starving people for expressing their sovereignty. In spite of this threat, I will continue to stand with the Cuban people. I will continue to demand an end to the U.S. blockade on Cuba once and for all.
All right, there we go. So that's what's happening. You got somebody that got questioned by the government after they came back from Cuba. Now, the thing about it is, Cuba is free to trade with other countries. The blockade, the sanctions, like they can't trade with us, but they can trade with other parts of this world. But nobody wants to. The issue with Cuba is that they're being used by the Eastern powers as kind of a hedge against us. So we can't let that happen. Again, we got to be the ones that help them rather than the East helping them. They cannot survive without either one of us. They cannot survive on their own. So we got to be able to be the ones that are pretty much administrating them to a certain extent rather than China, Russia, Iran administrating them. Now, here's somebody else talking about being detained.
Been detained for over 3 hours. Many of our phones were taken and searched, laptops as well. Others were released. They were asking us what we were doing in Cuba. When we all answered that we were bringing a humanitarian aid, they pulled up articles where that's exactly what we were doing. They are directly trying to instill fear in us to not continuing to go on and be on the side of humanity, whether that's in Cuba or whether that's in Palestine. We know that our comrade Tiago is still being held in Panama for over 3 hours as well. He was also part of the delegation.
Well, they were asking me a lot about Venezuela. They barely asked me about Cuba. I did overhear the agents kind of joking about how many of us they were interrogating. And some of them were saying, oh, I want to get more. So for them, it was a big joke to harass activists who were helping the Cuban people.
The 3 agents that were in my room continually kept saying how the Cuban people, they were just on Cuba, essentially. I asked one of them, are you Cuban? And he was like, no, but I've been. He knew the hotel that we stayed in and had all this information and said how bad of a look it was. And he was like, the Cuban people want Marco Rubio. You guys were down there throwing cookies at little kids. A whole bunch of bullshit.
I mean, they were doing that. Exactly what they were doing. You guys were throwing cookies at children, taking pictures. Hey, I'm in Cuba. I got on my Cartier frames. I got on my this. I got on my that. I got on my super expensive, Goodwill thrift store looking attire. Like, how much is that white t-shirt? $1,000 anyway. You guys went down there and did that. You did do that. That person told you that was not lying, but I'm getting triggered. Let me let him finish.
And said how bad of a look it was. And he was like, the Cuban people want Marco Rubio. You guys were down there throwing cookies at little kids. A whole bunch of bullshit that is obviously just from the capitalist and right-wing people here in Miami. But yeah, maybe 10 consecutive comments about how Cuba hates us and they want Trump to take it over.
We know some of those agents were actually of Cuban descent, so it's doubly horrible that, we're going there to help people who they're maybe related to, and they're still pulling us out.
So you think that you, Mr. American, I suppose, know better than Cubans here in America. Okay, Mr. White Savior or whatever race you are. I hate that. It's like, you think you know best. You think your way is the best. But if you have Cubans saying, hey, that ain't what we want this, you're going to say, nah, that's not what you guys want. I'm going to do it this way. And really, what did you actually do? You went down there and took some pictures and came back. Okay, congratulations. Fantastic. Meanwhile, you're going to have some real change made, and it's going to be what the Cuban people actually want. If Cubans wanted Cuba, then there wouldn't be so many Cubans in South Florida. I mean, go to South Florida, it is Cuba Part 2. It is the Caribbean led by Cubans.
And so it just really exemplifies the hatred of the people in the United States towards the people of Cuba. And this is a delegation that represented love.
They wanted to know about my parents and my family in Cuba and where they lived and who they were, and that made me a bit nervous.
The fact that they took my phone and laptop, honestly, it was.
All right, there we go. So that's what's happening with these people who were in America, went to Cuba. For what purpose? Hey, y'all tell me. I can't tell. Okay, let's keep on rocking and rolling. Now, there are people who died on the ventilator in Cuba because of the rolling blackouts. Hold on, matter of fact, where do I want to go? Oh, Ilhan Omar's daughter. This is Ilhan Omar's daughter. She was in Cuba as well. Okay, let's hear from her. Let's hear from this infinite wisdom. If Ilhan Omar, some people did something, if she is this woman's mother, I know there's a mountain of knowledge up there. Let's hear it.
My name is Isra Hersey. I'm a junior at Barnard College, and I'm an organizer with CU Apartheid Divest. We decided to hold this peaceful encampment because after months of what felt like screaming into the void about our demands and about our concerns about Colombia's complicity in genocide, we felt like we weren't being heard and that this would be the only way to move forward. We were taking after those elders and ancestors from 1968 about what they've done and how successful they were in taking over space on campus. I am the child of refugees and I am the child of organizers. I've spent my entire life, it feels like, protesting and organizing against violence, for freedom and for peace.
Okay, a bunch of nothing. What are we even talking about? You know, sometimes, you know what I think? I think that people in college, not all the time, but sometimes when they take some of these ridiculous courses that, you know, underwater basket weaving, I think when they take these courses, they are educated on how to speak and say nothing. You could deliver a whole speech and really just have nothing at all. It's like Kamala Harris, word salad. There appears to be classes in college that teach you word salad. It has no benefit in this world at all. No benefit, no purpose, no use. I mean, I guess it's good for video on social media, but where's the actual purpose and use? Now, here's the ringleader, Mr. Hassan Piker, Chunk Yogurt's nephew, talking about, you know what? They kind of just chilling down there. It's kind of a party island, so no electricity, rolling blackouts is not really a big deal because they're just kind of out there chilling, not really doing nothing anyway. Let's watch.
It's incredible. It's truly one of my favorite places officially. I totally understand why Will was saying that about Cuba. It's remarkable. The people's resilience is remarkable. There's like rolling blackouts that take place throughout the day, every day, all around the country, right? 11 million people. But today is a beautiful day out here. It's like 75 degrees, sunny. People are partying. People are partying in the fucking streets. I don't know if it's like an island mindset. I don't know if that has something to do with it. I'm sure that has something to do with it, but like they're just chilling. Like it's incredible.
Okay, so like what are you saying here? From your talk, it's like a critique. It's like, well, they're kind of just chilling, so they don't really mind not having the electricity. That's kind of what I hear from you right there. Now, I mean, if that's what I'm hearing, then how are you going to talk about, oh, capitalism this and that? Obviously, you know that you got to have productivity to have an economy. And if you don't, then you're probably not. So if there's no productivity, then it's like, well, what are we talking about? You must like the way you live. So you're sending mixed messages here. On one hand, it's like, okay, the sanctions, the blockade, this, that, and the third. On the other hand, it's like, they're just kind of chilling. Which one is it? Now, I think what's happening is that they have been used living like this for a long time. And it's like, what else am I going to do? I have no electricity, food I can barely afford. I'm scrambling, scraping, trying to buy a potato. So I got to have something to be able to have some joy on this place rather than just being sad and mad all the time. That's what I would presume. Now, we have a left-wing activist who is literally moving the goalposts. Palestine That's no longer the litmus test. Let's go. North Korea, China, Iran, Cuba. That is the new litmus test. Let's watch.
Palestine is no longer the litmus test. The litmus test is North Korea, China, Cuba, Venezuela, Iran. It's how you feel about Hamas, the Houthis. Palestine is no longer...
Okay, so what should I say here? Should I say that I support... Hold on. Should I say that I support the Houthi rebels, the Iranian regime? Should I support North Korea? I mean, they have zero freedom. You can't escape. They're starving, eating whatever they can. Venezuela, same thing. Under a dictator. Iran, under a dictator. Why should I support repressive governments, dictators, things of that nature? I don't understand how that makes any sense. I'm all for freedom of people and freedom to live how they want rather than being up under an oppressive dictator who can't even feed them. North Korea, especially. See, if you're going to be a dictator, at least have a good country, right? Don't have a country where you're the dictator and people are trying to just grab whatever kind of rodent they can to eat food so they don't die of starvation. I'm just saying. Hey, so what do y'all think? Is that the litmus test? If you're not in favor of dictators, then you're just not really it. You're not really woke enough. You're not really in the cool kids club. Hey, yeah, Rocket Man, exactly, Mr. Rich. Rocket Man. Is that the litmus test? Is that who we got to compare ourselves to? Okay, now here's a Cuban woman talking about the influencer trip and why it was a betrayal to the Cuban people.
As a Cuban, I can tell you that the organizers of the American influencer convoy to Cuba either don't know what they're supporting or they just don't care. And I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why. Number 1, this is being sold as humanitarian aid, but if it was purely humanitarian aid, why not just send the aid? Instead, you have influencers with millions of followers traveling to Cuba to do what Cubans cannot do freely, which is speak about the government without getting arrested. They are staying in 5-star hotels owned by the government using the resources that everyday Cubans don't have. Cuban independent journalist Yoani Sanchez, who lives on the island, said they claim they want to break the energy blockade, yet they spent in one meeting the electricity that could light several buildings in my neighborhood, which are in darkness. Number 2, there's no clear communication about where this aid is actually going. They're saying they're partnering with hospitals and healthcare facilities, but which ones and where on the island? The only information available is that they partnered with the Cuban Institute of Friendship with the Peoples to distribute the aid, but that's an organization historically used to promote state propaganda. Number 3, they're riding around in buses using gas Cubans don't have, singing songs like Guantanamera, which was made popular by Celia Cruz, which Celia Cruz was in exile. She wasn't even allowed to return to the island to bury her own mother. And through all of her career, Celia Cruz spoke about freeing Cuba from communism, the same communism that they're over there holding signs up defending. When Cubans on the island protest, they chant libertad, freedom, not from the US, but from their own oppressive regime. Influencers on the island continue to risk their lives by posting videos online saying down with communism, down with the Cuban government, freedom for political prisoners, and freedom for Cuba from communism. The Cuban diaspora, as well as the Cubans on the island, want the Cuban government held responsible for all of the suffering they have caused for 67 years. So when the influencer convoy claims to stand in solidarity, but only goes to Cuba to blame the US for Cuba's failures, Cubans don't see that as solidarity for the Cuban people. They see that as solidarity with the government that is responsible for 67 years of oppression of the Cuban people.
There it is. So, hey, that was very well said. Shout out to her. Shout out to the Cuban people who want to be free from the communist regime. A lot of these so-called influencers in the USA and other parts of the world, they think that communism is good, capitalism is bad, but they have not lived under communism. They've only had capitalism, and their lives are so charmed, so nice, so carefree, they cannot really understand what life is like when the country has pretty much collapsed, when there's no food to go around, when there's not much of anything, when life regresses to a certain way below any kind of decent standard of living. They don't get it because they've never lived it. But when you live it, you experience it, then you can have an opinion, a true opinion, and my humble opinion. Okay, getting flown there by the government, doing state-sponsored propaganda tours, that's not going to help the Cuban people at all. All right, let's keep on rocking and rolling. Let's keep rocking. And before I move on from Cuba, here's a look at this. This is probably the craziest video. Then I'm gonna move on. I promise. I know we got limited time, but this is Cuba plunged in darkness. Okay, blackout is crazy. You can see there's not much going on, except for one location which is very well lit up. And I'll give you guys one chance to guess what location in this shot you're gonna see is 100% lit up. Let's watch.
So this is Cuba, and there is no electricity anywhere because there's no oil, there's no energy, and this is what it looks like. Except that hotel, because it's a 5-star hotel. That's it. Everybody else is in the dark.
So no lights, all darkness except for that one state-sponsored hotel. Now, where do you think the American influencers are staying? Huh? Probably right there. Okay. State-sponsored, government-protected hotel, but they're there for the Cuban people. Oh, okay. That's pretty much symbolic. That's symbolic of how it is. We can have our first world way of living, all our accoutrements, creature comforts. You guys, hey, man, get it how you live, man. Get it how you live, figure it out. All right. Oh, there's generators going on. I can hear the generators in the background, but everybody don't have a generator. And at a certain point, it just wouldn't be practical, depending upon, do you have space to put a generator? You can't put it inside. Now, I got one more Cuba video. Here is a Free Cuba rally in Hialeah on yesterday. Hialeah, this is like the Miami area, of course. Hey, these are the bad Cubans that the Hassan Piker boy was talking about. So we got a USA chant at a Cuba rally. I'm seeing Cuban flags and American flags at the same time. Okay, so shout out to them. Shout out to them. All right, let's keep rocking and rolling here. Now, we got some TSA lines. There's some short lines and some long lines, and I'm seeing all types of excuses because let's talk about what's going on. Okay, you have very long lines at TSA all over the nation because of the shortage of TSA workers, because they don't want to pay TSA, meaning the Democrats, because they want to, in exchange for funding TSA, which needs to happen, which has to happen, they want to get reforms for ICE because of Rachel Nicole Good and Alex Pretty. So as a result, they're putting us in the middle of it, travelers, passengers, TSA, everybody, and we got to suffer these very long wait times. This is Houston. When was this? This was on today. This was today. Okay, so let's watch this. Hold on. And that's music they're playing. I think it might be somebody in there playing the violin. I don't know. But they're trying to keep, hold on. Can we go back a little bit? You got to go back because I got a video that I might play later about some of the dress policy, or it's not a policy. It's a suggestion. It's a suggestion, not a thing that Duffy going to try to fine you for. But let's take a look at this crowd. Okay, we got some nice people, the man suit and tie. That's nice, classic look. Okay, t-shirt, jeans, t-shirt, Lululemon. Like the guy right here with the book bag, that's pretty much how I dress in the airport. If you see me in the airport, I'm dressed just like this. T-shirt, Lululemon, book bag, bags. That's pretty much how I dress, okay? All of this right here we see in the picture, totally fine. Okay, but now I got somebody else I'm going to show you. Okay, there we go again. I will have the same thing on. Now what we have, dun, dun, dun. Okay. Bonnet, tank top, and booty shorts. You can see how high the stomach out. You know what? I wouldn't say you couldn't get on the plane if you dress like that, but I might, because I'm seeing too much hind parts. The bonnet and everything, that's one thing, but I'm seeing way too much hind parts. You can see the line divider is right I guess at the bottom or the top of whatever you want to call it, of the shorts, you can see cheeks. I don't want to see that. Okay. I don't want to see that in the airport. That's where I think there needs to be a dress code instituted to prevent booty butt cheeks from being all over the place in the airport. I'm sorry. Okay. Your SpongeBob SquarePants pajamas are bad enough, but I don't want to see, I don't want to see all that extra activity happening. But anyway, here's some lines at Houston's airport. Today, although ICE has been deployed, it's still going to be lines because it's not enough TSA. See, he's out there playing the violin. Shout out to him. Very well done. But there's a lot of entertainment in these airports because people are just waiting as long lines. A guy like that could just set up shop, might be able to get some donations or whatever. And that just helps with keeping everything nice and calm. I could tell that he's been granted. There's a little badge right there. He probably given by the airport to come in there and perform. So that means he probably was hired. And he has on the Houston jersey, so that's probably higher airport talent. It's too many people right now. They got to get TSA back funded. ICE has helped in some parts of the country, in some airports. But you still got to have enough TSA to show up because the ICE can't do everything. ICE, I think they could do everything but screening. And that's the problem, is the screening. So if they could do all the other ancillary tasks that TSA does and let TSA focus on screening, they could get a better result as far as the lines. We still got to have enough TSA to show up. And they're not getting paid. And it might be a little bit of, you might be a little upset because you're in TSA, you're not being paid, you're not able to pay your bills, you can't do anything, but ICE are paid. Okay. Let's keep on going. Let's hear from some people who are traveling, what their opinions are. All right, let's check it out. And that was a Titanic. That was a Celine Dion. Okay. I ain't hitting no high notes tonight, but I know the song.
Do you have a message to these lawmakers?
Get on the ball and make a decision. This is ridiculous. We got people who are going hungry. They can't get to work because they don't have the gas. Let them work. Let them get paid so they can do their jobs.
Yeah. Do you have a message
I agree 100%.
to these?
Let's keep going. Okay. How about Chucky Boy, Chuck Schumer? Let's hear her opinion on him.
We have an 11 a.m. flight. What has it been like? Terrible. What do you want Congress to know, who have the ability to shut this down and reopen and have TSA agents come back to work?
I think Chuck Schumer should be ashamed of himself. We have an 11 a.m. flight.
I agree. He should be ashamed of himself.
Oh, they right.
Now, this guy right here, this video is kind of going viral, and I knew that it would because of his accent. Now, some of y'all say y'all recognize this guy, Chris Scally. I guess he was on the TV show. I don't watch TV, so whatever the TV show is, I have no idea. Now, some are trying to discredit him as an actor, but there are plenty of actors that always give their opinion on everything all the time, and there's never a discrediting unless you don't agree with him. Then it becomes, oh, he's an actor, he got paid to do it. Is that what it is? Well, why when I see actors on television all the time talking about certain political things from the left, it's seen as, oh, they're helping, it's solidarity, all kind of stuff. I mean, make it make sense. But anyway, let's watch this.
Oh, they're right there.
And RIP to the headphone users.
Oh, they're right there. All right, they're good to hear the help. They're not bothering nobody. As long as they can check my bags and get me on my flight, I'm good to go. Right? I want to get to the Bahamas. I want out of here. Oh, they're right there. All right, they're good to hear the help. They're not bothering nobody. As long as they can check my bags and get me on my flight, I'm good to go. Right? I want to get to the Bahamas. I want out of here.
Exactly. So shout out to Brooklyn man Chris Scally talking about, hey, they can check my bags, get me on my flight. It's all good. Forget about it. I'm walking here. Shout out to the Italians out there in New York. You guys are great. I grew up with some of y'all down in Virginia. You guys are good people, man. Shout out to y'all. Okay, eating all type of spaghetti. Hey, spaghetti be rocking. I had some of your spaghetti. Been in your house for spaghetti dinner, rocking and rolling. I tell you what, rocking. With that garlic bread, y'all be having all of that. Hey man, the Italians and the Mediterraneans, that area of Europe got some of the best European food. Period. Y'all, the Greeks and the Italians, the food, fantastic. But yeah, most people are not going to care about ICE. There's been some kind of campaign, a boogeyman campaign about ICE being these terrible people, and they're not. And they're totally not. Okay? They're totally not. Did I ever watch Jersey Shore? I did not. No. I would see clips from that, I suppose. I know about, I guess, what was that, Snooki? Was she on there? And the DJ, the situation, was that his name? I would see clips from that. Like if I would watch MTV for any reason, I might see a clip from that coming on a commercial, but I never watched the actual show. I never watch anything. I don't watch a lot of, I've not watched TV since The Wire. I'm talking like 20 years. There may be a show here and there I get convinced to watch, but for the most part, I'm not just like, hey, I wonder what's on the boob tube. I don't do that. I watch a lot of YouTube videos about history, geography, engineering, nerdy stuff. Not nothing that's like, hey, party time. I don't got no time for that. Anyway, here's Hartsfield Jackson. You have a passenger talking about what's happening.
Bother anybody? I'm okay. I was concerned about people. So they're not bothering us. Let's get it done.
I like that they're here. I think that it's allowing us to move and get to where we need to go.
It's kind of scary in a sense because you don't know what to expect with ICE.
As long as they can help us move a little bit faster, maybe they can take some of the work off the TSA agents as far as, general security. I'm all for it.
Bother anybody?
All right, there we go. So again, shout out to Hartsfield Jackson and people out there talking about ICE. Yeah, ICE, they're not going to bother you. ICE ain't going to bother you. That's not, don't be concerned about ICE bothering you. And yes, of course, ICE will be doing some immigration enforcement at airports, but they always do that. That's not nothing new. That's not a new thing. To see somebody get locked up at an airport, arrested at an airport, is nothing new. To have ICE at airports ain't nothing new, because you may have some migrants getting deported, all kind of stuff at the airport. So yes, ICE, Border Patrol, police, all of them are going to be there. And that's just what it is. Especially in Hartsfield Jackson. I read a story that said that every day there are as many people who congregate at Hartsfield Jackson as there are people in New Orleans. It's a city within a city. So it's a secure place, a sensitive place, where you got human trafficking, smuggling, all kind of criminality happening potentially at a place like this. So yes, it is secure. And a lot of the security is quiet and you don't see it. You don't even really know nothing about it until something crazy happens and they pop out of nowhere. Okay, you be sitting in Concourse C, eating your Chick-fil-A, stuffing your face, and then before you know it, here come a couple dogs, here come some guys with vests on, and then somebody getting arrested, and then that's it. And you keep on eating your sandwich and go about your day. All righty. And yeah, so shout out to all the ICE agents. You guys are doing the Lord's work. Now,
be better.
Here is Miss Ashley Allison. Hey, friend. Hey, Ashley. Here's Miss Ashley Allison and Scott Jennings on CNN speaking about the whole ICE agent at airport kerfuffle. Check it out.
Be better.
Is there a single report today of something going awry with ICE agents?
Well, thank God for 24 hours something bad didn't happen.
Maybe there is.
There was an ICE agent refusing to identify himself, arresting a woman in an airport, freaking people out. They weren't even sure it was in San Francisco airport.
Well, what kind of an interaction was it actually? Do you know the situation?
It was an arrest. I don't know, Scott. What information do you have?
Who did they arrest? Now you're bringing it up. Who did they arrest?
No, I'm saying
internet. We'll need the internet.
Now, one thing about it, that arrest in San Fran, that happened on Sunday. This is before they got deployed on Monday. You see what I'm saying? That's what the media does. They put stuff out. They put stuff like that out there without giving you the full context, which goes back to my point about ICE agents always being at airports, and they always conduct immigration enforcement. This ain't nothing new. The new deployment of ICE at the airport is to help with the crowd size, but they also have already been doing immigration enforcement at airports. But people that don't know anything would just turn on the boob tube and they will see that the ICE agents are going to the airport for the very first time. Now, this guy's going to warn people, if you're here illegally, your papers ain't right, don't go to the airport. I say, try your luck. Why not? Live a little.
Now, I'm saying this with all good intentions, people. Listen to me. If your ass know that your immigration status is shaky and you don't know if you for sure a U.S. citizen, please don't take your ass to the airport. Okay? Now, you may not be doing nothing and you might not be one of these weirdo criminals out here, okay? Oh, that's good. But at the end of the day, if you know your immigration status is shaky, don't try to take your ass to the airport and go travel, okay?
Now, you know what? Okay, I appreciate the concern there, bro. I appreciate your heartfelt concern for illegal aliens, but check it out. I say, go ahead. Go ahead. Matter of fact, you should just self-deport if it's that serious. You're trying to hide. You don't want to travel nowhere. No, self-deport. Matter of fact, if you self-deport, you're going to get a free journey to wherever you want to go. On the house. You don't got to worry about trying to pay Delta, United, Southwest. Nah, get you a free flight to wherever you want to go. And some money for your pocket. $2,600 cash. Okay, get you a paid vacation. Why not? And when you want to come back, just come back legally. I've seen cases where people self-deported and came back 2 weeks later legally. Just follow the process, do due diligence, and if you can't come back in 2 weeks, then hey man, oh well, you gambled and you lost. You got a little bit of money, you be all right. Go to wherever you from, work out there for a while, grind out there for a while, and when you're able to come back, come on back. So yeah, come on to the airport, but before you go to the airport, holla at CBP, get the app on your phone, be like, hey, let me self-deport back to Boot-Headed and can I get that money? Sure. Put you on the flight tomorrow. Come on down to Hartsfield Jackson. And that's it. You don't got to worry about nothing. Just do it that way. And then that way, they don't got to come find you, beat you in the head, or you got to try to hit him with a car. Nah, just go ahead and self-deport. That's what I would say. So yeah, shout out to him. But nah, go ahead and go to ICE. Okay, we got somebody in the airport tripping over the nice ICE agents. Now, one thing I was asking people on my Facebook about this, and one of my great commenters was talking about, I appreciate how they don't have any mask on, because that was the thing. They were worried about the mask. The issue with the masks that ICE agents had on was prevent them from getting doxxed, because there's so many dumb people out there. They want to try to find these people and go to their house or do something to them, crazy stuff. So it was for the agent's safety, especially since they were dealing with a lot of criminals out there. All right, if you're trying to deport a bunch of these criminals from all parts of the world, they have gang ties, strong connections, and they could do things to go out there and try to hurt you before you come get them, you see? But in the airport, it's not quite that same crowd. These are kind of your normies. But again, ICE has been in airports and they have not been wearing masks. Anyway, but let's watch.
Let me see you take the white hand down and put it in this once. Let me see you take the white hand down and put it in this once.
They're so hung up on the race thing. Like, if you're here illegally, you're just not white. Or they think the targeting of migrants is focused on non-whites. It's not. It's if you're here illegally, they know who you are, especially the criminals. We're coming to get you. All right, hold on, my bad. That's kind of what's going on. Let's keep on going here. Here's Van Jones talking about being stuck in the airport. Y'all know Van Jones. Hey, Van Jones, you got $100 million from Jeff Bezos. Where it's at? What happened? Anyway, I ain't got some. Hey, I'm not going to ask no more questions, Van Jones. Let's keep on rocking.
I'm here at the Houston airport in this massive, incredible line. Just total, unbelievable humanity. Everybody's just trying to get home. Right now, political leaders get your act together. Protect the people from crazy ICE stuff. And
crazy ICE stuff. What does that mean, Van Jones? Crazy ICE stuff? Can we be a little bit more articulate? I know you're a smart guy and you're able to express yourself better than that. I know you're able to do that, Van Jones. Come on now, tighten up.
People from crazy ICE stuff and protect these poor TSA workers from not having any money. Get on with it. This is nuts. Totally insane.
Okay, protect these ICE people. Protect people from crazy ICE stuff and protect TSA from not having any money. Okay. Very well said, Mr. Van Jones. Rhodes Scholar. I tell you what, rocket scientist, 1,000 IQ. Anyway, let's keep rocking and rolling. We got a lot to get through, actually. Now, hear me out. Do you guys think that we should privatize ICE? Pardon me, not ICE. Do you guys think we should privatize TSA? Should we privatize TSA? Now, in some airports in this country, TSA is private. Okay, let's watch this.
Who am I here with?
You're here with Dr. Yvette Richards.
Dr. Yvette, where are you flying in from?
I'm flying in from Kansas City, Missouri.
And how were the lines in Kansas City, Missouri today?
I walked right in.
You walked right in?
Yes, I believe our airport has contract TSA, so we are not in the long lines and the difficulties other people are experiencing, and hopefully we can get that resolved quickly because all those individuals working without pay is just unbelievable.
Who am I here with?
So, you heard her. She said, hey, well, from my airport, Kansas City, we got privatized TSA. We have private contracted people doing our security. So is that the solution to this? Is that the path going forward for all of the US of A? To have the private people in there doing stuff? Maybe a mix of private and public. So private TSA and then public ICE, Border Patrol for the immigration efforts, for the law enforcement. You have local police. So how does that really work? Y'all let me know. Okay. Privatize it all? Everything? All right. So there we have it. There we have it. Okay. Now, Elon Musk had offered to pay ICE agents, but because, partially, I believe, there's limitations on what you're able to do as a private citizen for the U.S. government, it was declined. But if TSA was funded privately, number one, there wouldn't be an issue with the funding. And number two, if Elon wanted to give them some money, he could. But he can't. So let's just watch this from Trump right quick, shall we? And here is the original post. He said, I would like to offer to pay the salaries of TSA personnel during this funding impasse that is negatively affecting the lives of so many Americans at airports throughout the country. Okay. Now, here is Trump's response to that.
Elon Musk has offered to pay TSA workers during this DHS shutdown. Is this something that you've been speaking to him about?
Yeah, I'd love it. I think it's great. Let him do that. And I want to thank ICE because they stepped in so strongly. They'll do great. And if that's not enough, I'll bring in the National Guard. We're not going to have the Democrats destroy our country. These people are the most destructive, sick people.
Elon Musk.
Okay, now to be clear, here is what's going on. Okay, it says the White House snubs Elon Musk offer to cover TSA salaries as airport miseries hit record levels. And it says, I'm reading right here. The White House rejected an offer from Elon Musk to personally fund TSA workers' salaries during the partial government shutdown that has thrown airport security into chaos across the country. Abigail Johnson, the White House spokesperson, told Fortune. Okay, so there we go. We greatly appreciate Elon's generous offer, Jackson wrote in an email to Fortune. This would pose great legal challenges due to his involvement with federal government contracts. So there's some problems right there. Now, again, these problems would not exist if TSA was privately funded, rather than it being caught up in this whole game that the Democrat Party is playing right now because they want to reform ICE. Right? Okay, let's keep on rocking and rolling. Now, the status of... Someone said, what's the status of clearing Minneapolis by ICE. I think that their mission is accomplished, or I think they're done in Minneapolis for now. I don't think there's any more big operations happening. As far as I know, maybe I'm wrong about that. Y'all let me know. Okay, let's keep going here. Let's keep on going. Now, there was a protest outside of Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. Now, this is my home airport. I've traveled out of here quite a bit, and this does not look like the Atlanta I know. This looks like Portland, Oregon, Freeport, Washington, Los Angeles, downtown, by where they smoke crack at. It does not look like Atlanta at all, but let's watch.
Donald Trump, let's be clear. Donald Trump, let's be clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Immigrants are welcome here. Donald Trump, let's be clear. Donald Trump, let's be clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Immigrants are welcome here.
Now, okay, congratulations on finding like 20 people to go out there and do your protest. Okay, maybe Starbucks done closed. Maybe Starbucks gave him an off day or something like this. Maybe they took a little break from Little 5 Points to come out there and do that. Okay, congratulations, but nobody cares. The travelers at Hartsfield-Jackson do not care at all about your protest. All they care about is making their connecting flight or taking their direct. That's it. You get international travelers, all over nationwide travelers. They don't care about you morons out there. Okay, go back to Little 5 Points and try to start your failing band again. Go out there and do stuff like that. Okay, get back creating your art in your room. All right, that's what y'all be doing. All right, that's pretty much where y'all are at. Anyway, let's keep rocking and rolling. So, speaking about dress codes and stuff like that, I want to show you guys this video because I'm sorry for the crazy freeze frame there, bro. I apologize. We all do stuff like that. But anyway, I played the video earlier of the young lady with the hind parts hanging out, okay, at the airport. ABL, I want a timestamp. Nasty. Anyway, there's a discussion about a little bit of, not a dress code where it's like you must wear this, you must wear that, but a little bit of decency goes a long way when you walk outside of your house. Okay, first it's about Ruth Chris, the high-end steakhouse in Chili's, talking about dress code, but then it's more about airports and whatnot. How should you dress in general when you go outside in the public?
The great national divide over dress codes, it's back with a debate over the dress code at steakhouse chain Ruth's Chris and what it calls proper attire, asking guests to remove all hats and not come in with gym wear, pool attire, tank tops, or exposed undergarments. Another chain, Chili's, posted about that, saying the only dress code at Chili's is you have to be dressed. We've been here before, America. Remember last month, the Tampa airport announced itself as a pajama-free airport? And although it later claimed to be joking, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy was serious as a pair of slacks when he said all air travelers should dress with respect.
I'm not fining anyone if they wear their pajamas on the airplane, right? That's not what we're doing. We're asking people to maybe dress a little better.
If we're honest, it can certainly seem like the Sean Duffys and the Ruth Chris's of the world are losing this battle for standards. A few years ago, after all, the U.S. Senate itself started to allow lawmakers to wear whatever they want, which for Senator Fetterman included shorts and sneakers in the chamber.
Hate it.
But just a week later, people forget this, lawmakers voted unanimously to reinstate a dress code, and it was a popular move. So I don't know the answer here, but it's hard to argue with Mark Twain, who said, clothes make the man. Naked people have little or no influence on society.
Bam. Right on point. 100%. All right. So what do y'all think? How you feel about dress codes or just a sense of decency when you go out to certain places? Now, as far as Ruth Chris Steakhouse and Chili's, I get it. Okay, Ruth Chris, you're going to pay a lot of money. So in a place like that, you got to kind of dress. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't make sense, in my opinion, to go to an upscale place like that and dress like a bum, especially since people are paying that high amount of money, not just for the so-called better food, but for the better experience and for people that are similar to them, or at least those who are not going to look like they just came from shucking corn or something like this in the field. Now, Chili's, okay, you're paying $20 for 2 entrees. So it's whatever. Wear your regular clothes. You just get off of work. Okay, you can go somewhere like that because it's more laid back, and it's fine. I like restaurants like that where it's more laid back. But if I go to a nice high-end joint, then I'm dress how the high-end place wants you to dress. And if I don't want to wear that, I'm not going to go there. And you know what? I could cook my own food, so I don't got to go anywhere if I don't want to. But as far as being on the airplane, yeah, I'm going to dress appropriately. I'm going to look nice, little athleisure, t-shirt, Lululemon type pants on. Okay, I'm not sagging, I'm not showing my hind parts. I'm not wearing bedroom attire, boxer shorts. Like, you know what? There's a little bit of sexism because if I go to the airport and I'm seeing the young lady wearing booty shorts, that appears to be okay, I suppose. But if I go to the airport wearing my drawers, then they're going to call the police. Get this half-naked man up out of here. I'm just saying that's a little bit sexist, but I digress. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. Now, speaking about airlines and United comfortability, United Airlines like, hey, we got this. You want to pay a little extra money? Well, hey, we got some nice seating for you. Check it out.
United Airlines is making economy more comfortable. They're calling it the Relax Row. The airline has unveiled 3 seats in coach that transform into a bed meant for adults traveling with children or anyone who just wants to stretch out. The Relax Row is expected to debut next year, with airfares now predicted to rise by 20% because of fuel costs. With that ongoing war with Iran, a little extra comfort might be needed.
So, look, okay. This, I think they're rolling out right now because they anticipate maybe having lighter loads of travelers if you're going to have higher costs. So to compensate for that, let's give you a more expensive ticket where you could just have the whole row to yourself, even if you don't lay out in the row like it's a bed, but you could buy the entire row. It'll cost you more, but it's a convenience. And if we didn't do it that way, then we probably would still get just one passenger in that row, but they're not paying for the whole row. You see? Or they have a low volume of passengers so they could do stuff like that. Because I still think if they could get 3 human beings in those seats, it would not be any deal for this extended row, you see? All right, let's keep on rocking and rolling. Now I gotta sneeze. It's right there. Hold on. And somebody burning something. I could smell somebody burning something outside. It's not in my house. It smells like somebody burning firewood. It's like 75 degrees though. What are we talking about? Anyway.
In the U.S.
This woman was shot by an illegal alien, and the mainstream media are covering it, to much of my surprise.
In the U.S. tonight to the student from Loyola University Chicago who was shot and killed while walking with a group of her friends. A suspect tonight now charged in Homeland Security, now saying he is in the country illegally. Here's Rhiannon Alley.
It was a shocking crime. 18-year-old Sheridan Gorman, a freshman at Loyola University Chicago, was shot to death while walking with friends at a lakeside park. Tonight, an undocumented immigrant from Venezuela has been charged with her murder.
Over at the beach on Pratt, 1045 West Pratt, we got a person shot, and it's a Loyola student.
Officials say at 1 a.m. Thursday morning, the group walked onto a pier when a masked suspect emerged dressed in black. As the group fled, Gorman was shot in the back.
You should not be worried about walking to the beach and not expect to just get killed like that.
DHS says 25-year-old Jose Medina entered the country illegally in 2023. Gorman's family from Westchester, New York, saying in a statement, this was a violent and preventable act. We are gravely disappointed by the policies and failures that allowed this individual to remain in a position to commit this crime. David, tonight the suspect has been hospitalized with tuberculosis and his first court appearance has been postponed.
First of all, may she rest in peace. Prayers out to the family. But this was preventable. There's a lot here. The last piece especially. Let's start with the last thing first. Tuberculosis. So not only is he here illegally, he's also sick and a criminal. It's like, come on. A criminal for being here illegally, but a person that will go out and do something crazy like this, and he's sick on top of that. So even if not for the murder he committed, allegedly, he's sick on top of that. So imagine a bunch of these people in your community. You have no idea where they are, what function they serve. You're just here in your community. You're in danger in many ways by these people who are not vetted properly. Now, some are trying to say this is President Trump's fault because contrary to his, we're going after the worst of the worst, they're not trying to get the worst of the worst. Now, look, to anybody who says that, I thought that there's a bunch of anti-ICE protesters, blowing whistles, getting in the way, trying to fight them, trying to prevent them from being able to go where they got to go. The Democrats right now are withholding TSA funding, throwing travel into a chaos right during a fuel crisis because they want to further hamstring the TSA. I mean, they want to further hamstring ICE. So what's really going on? Here's J.B. Pritzker talking about it's Trump's fault, basically. And of course, this is the governor of Illinois.
There have been real failures. Those failures, of course, extend beyond the borders of Illinois. That's their national failures, a failure to have comprehensive immigration reform, a failure of the president to follow his own edict to go after the worst of the worst. There have been.
Okay, now listen. We are going after the worst of the worst. We are trying to get the worst of the worst. But people like J.B. Pritzker, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, and all the rest of them are getting in the way. Your citizenry out there on the ground fighting ICE agents, Border Patrol are getting in the way. We're trying to do the right thing. You guys don't want us to do it. And then you want to try to gaslight us and say that it's our fault that this guy was able to be here and doing what he's doing. You guys have done everything. Literally, I'm talking about stopping in front of a speeding bullet. You guys then took bullets for these illegal aliens to protect them. And then when those you protect do something crazy, you want to blame us? That's gaslighting 101. Don't do that, J.B. Pritzker. Don't do that at all. That's just not what it is. That's just not what it's supposed to be. Okay? Now we got Android 16, Hakeem Jeffries talking about it. All right. Shout out Android 15, the OG agent. Okay, the black android that they didn't show on TV because it was racist. Anyway, I'm just playing.
An illegal immigrant has been charged with murdering a college student in Chicago last week. Do House Democrats believe if he's convicted, he's someone who should be deported?
I'll look into the case.
Do you expect any... An illegal immigrant has been charged with...
I'll look into it. I'll get to it when I get to it. Whatever. Somebody got deleted, illegal alien, I'll look into it. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, we got to reform ICE because they killed 2 people and we're going to withhold TSA funding until it happens. Oh, okay. All right. Don't worry about it, Android 15. Oh, this was crazy. This is Maria Haddon, a Chicago alderwoman who is she's a self-described queer and progressive champion, talking about a young lady was killed by the illegal alien because maybe she just startled him. Maybe she scared him and he had to go in and just take her life. I'm not making this up. This is a real video.
All the time.
Okay, let's watch. Hold on. Love JC777 says mini TB work in restaurants. Well, imagine that. Hey, you're going to get your shrimp fried rice from the Chinese spot. Meanwhile, it's all Venezuelans and everybody got all kind of crazy disorder. You eat that fried rice. What's going on in my throat? Anyway, let's watch this.
All the time, right? And they go out on the pier, they walk around. So the kids were out doing normal things people do in the neighborhood. And it sounds like this might have been a wrong place, wrong time, running into a person who had a gun. They might have startled this person at the end of the pier unintentionally. But that's all the time, right? And they go out on the
So is that how that works? Okay, I'm startled. Oops, hey, bang, bang, I'm gonna kill you. Is that how that works? I ain't never been so scared or startled by something that I just decided to start blasting. That's not how that works at all. You pull your gun out and start shooting when there's a real threat, not when you just get startled in the park. Who does that? I mean, people like this are morons. And people like that should be nowhere near leadership at all because that was a completely moronic take. Do you have more than one brain cell in your head? If you go like that, am I going to hear anything? Am I going to hear dice rolling? Am I going to hear penny shuffling? Or am I going to hear air? Is there a hot air balloon up there? What's going on with your brain? If you have a brain, I can't tell because you're not using it. And people like this think that they have the right idea. They think that what they're saying makes sense and what we say don't make sense. And that's the problem. That's the conflict right there. between those that have a brain and those who don't. And those who don't feel like they're the superior ones, and they're not. Okay, let's keep rocking and rolling here. All right, so hold on. Where do I want to go? I got limited time. Oh, here's a good one. Here's a really, really good one. Okay, this is going to be over in UK. So this guy, this Brit, is saying, you know what? The change in demographic, that's a myth. That the demographic change, the white man not being the white man anymore in England and UK, that is a myth. But what happens behind him is totally poetic. Okay, let's watch.
Just a change in sort of demographics, the people who live here and so on?
Not particularly. I don't see it hasn't changed in any great deal, to be honest with you.
Have you noticed a change in sort of demographics, the people who live here and so on?
Not particularly. I don't see it hasn't changed in any great deal, to be honest with you.
Have you noticed?
Okay, so you know what? I've not really seen the big change in the demographics as not one, but two hit jobs totally covered up. Beekeeper outfit. Okay, beekeeper outfit. They're about to go out there. Hey, somebody got some crazy hornets in their backyard because they're going to do some kind of extraction of some crazy flying insects with the beekeeper outfit on. Not one, but two of them. Okay, ice number one, ice number two. So when you say, oh, there's not really a big change in the demographic, Mr. England white man, I can't tell. Maybe you don't see it, but everybody else sees it. So, hey, man, RIP to Europe. Hopefully you guys are able to hang on and carve out something for yourselves because, hey, that low birth rate, 1.3 ain't going to get it, bro. 1.1, 1.3, 1.2, that ain't going to get it. And before you know it, you're going to be Afghanistan North, Pakistan North. And if you want to be that, it's okay. But I don't think you guys who are from UK, who are from England, would like that too much, you know? So let's go to New York City. Zohran Mamdani is being heckled already. That didn't take long. Let's watch.
Who here has been crushed by rents that go up year after year? Maybe he has not had his rents going up. Who here has considered leaving this city because of the expense that it takes to call yourself a New Yorker? And we see many here as well. Who here has been...
All right, so there's that. And we got another one, another angle potentially from that same thing or a different heckler. All right, let's watch this.
What?
Yeah, there we go. Better angle. And the caption, I love it. The caption says, my coffee tastes a little better after seeing this earlier. Okay, let's watch. And RIP in advance to the headphone users.
Why? Oh, she hates America. And she was born here.
This symbol
how about that?
But a ribbon cutting, well, a ribbon cutting means homes for New Yorkers. We look forward to coming back to this site that we might be able to welcome families to this new development. Thank you so much, Mayor Mamdani. Thank you. But I want to tell you something, Mayor. Metro IAF is here.
That's right. You shut up.
Metro IAF.
He's a Trojan horse. He hates America. Why? Oh, she hates America.
So at the beginning, talking about his wife. Remember the whole thing? You guys may or may not have seen it, but his wife, I forget her name. Her name is not even really important because, like I said, she's like a child to me. It's like talking about his kids, basically. But his wife had put out some stuff about the Jews, like just some racist stuff, the N-word from when she was like 15. But it's out there. And it's like, okay, Zohran, you say that that's just a private person, that she's not involved in politics, but people that are in New York City are going to question that because if that's who you keep around you, that's your wife, then what do you think? You could say one thing publicly, but privately, how do you really feel? If your wife says these moronic things, do you support that behind closed doors? Although you can't in public, what's really going on? So he was correct to confront him, to heckle him. If I was there, I'd do the same thing. But you know what? This is a problem with the New Yorkers who voted for Zohran. I don't know who these people are. Maybe you got a bunch of these transplants from Iowa, corn shuckers, who don't understand anything about anything. They just want to be somebody, and maybe they got some money. I don't know. Maybe it's them that did this. But whoever did it is going to be a problem for New York. Now, let's go to California. This right here should be a campaign ad. And shout out to our nephew, Nick Shirley. Back at it again. Nick Shirley's asking this guy out there in California, hey, if Gavin Newsom runs in 2028 for president of the USA, would you vote for him? And he says, yeah. And his reasoning why is going to knock your socks off. All righty, let's watch.
Would you guys vote for Gavin Newsom in 2028?
I vote for him because he got me released from coming home from a life sentence.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So he didn't hold me back. He didn't hold me back. He signed off saying I'm fit for society. So yes, I would vote for Gavin Newsom.
What were you locked up for? If you don't mind me asking.
I was locked up for murder, carjacking, and robbery.
Would you guys vote for?
Okay, there we go. So there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, Nick is asking them a question, kind of in a hypothetical. I don't believe you're able to vote if you've been locked up, and you can vote. You get your rights restored. That's a thing. Shout out to Craig Long for watching, because he got locked up and got rights restored. He really did not 360. He did a 180, turned his life around and became somebody. But this guy right here, I'm not quite sure. A life sentence, that's a pretty serious thing to get commuted for. Murder, carjacking, and robbery, that's a lot to get locked up for in California, especially when they kind of soft on people. But anyway, he probably cannot vote. So it's kind of a rhetorical, kind of just a hypothetical. Hey, if you could, would you? He says yes. But that tells you a little bit about Gavin, where you would release someone from prison with that kind of record. Now, my question is, will this guy offend again? I hope not. But I mean, if there's a scale, if there's a measurement, if there's like a level of potential recidivism, he probably is going to be high on the list due to his previous track record. Is he a gang member? Was he part of a gang in prison? What's really going on? All right, so there we go. Murder, carjacking, and robbery. I'm out in the streets, and go Gavin Newsom. Gavin, he's a man. He got me out of the can. All right, hey, I got bars. Anyway. Now, here he is talking about the Safe America Act, speaking about Gavin. Look at that expression. Hey, Gavin, please, bro, please. You have to listen. If you can hear my plea, please run for president in 2028. I want you to do it because it's going to make it my day. It's going to make my life worth living. You're going to give me so many materials for memes. It's going to be glorious. I'm going to make all the money in Africa. I'm going to fix every village from the cash you will generate from your crazy campaign. Anyway, do y'all see this guy? That's going to be the president in 2028. Man, please. I would never allow such a thing. All right, let's get some sound and hear what's going to be said by this man.
I don't know you know where your birth certificate is?
You got to find your birth certificate. If you know where yours is, I have no clue where mine is.
Do you know where your birth certificate is?
Could you find your birth certificate?
No, I couldn't.
Could you find?
I don't know where my birth certificate is.
Do you have a passport or your birth certificate?
Passport or a birth certificate?
Passport.
Birth certificate or a passport?
Birth certificate. Birth certificate.
Birth certificate. Passport.
A lot of Americans don't even have a passport. Birth certificate, birth certificate, their birth certificate. Birth certificate.
So I get the idea. This is like a cut up of everybody talking about, oh, well, we can't find the paperwork. We can't find the documentation. But everybody got the real ID to go travel on airplanes. But we can't get the same documentation we got for the real ID to prove we can vote. Oh, okay. Obviously, you guys are liars and you want the ability to cheat. Therefore, you want to keep this rule off the books. Well, newsflash. Ain't gonna be no more to cheating. Ain't gonna be more to manipulation. Ain't gonna be no more to stealing. We're putting an end to that right now. Furthermore, you can go online a lot of times and get your documentation. You don't have your original birth certificate. You could go get a copy. You could go get something straight from where you got to get it from. You have the ability to do that. And if you don't do that, then that means you didn't want to do it from the beginning and you're lazy and you shouldn't be voting anyway. Okay? But anyway, let's keep on rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay. let's keep going here. Where are we going to go? Oh, so this is going to be a taxpayer-funded tiny home community in Seattle, Washington. Now, surely these are just nice, hardworking people. There's no drugs, nothing like that going on, right? No crack smoking, no meth smoking, no nothing like that. No Walter White activities going on. It's just, hardworking people. Oh, okay, let's watch this. And again, shout out to Seattle, Washington. And these guys who posted this, we heart Seattle. We love Seattle. Check it out.
Inner Bay Tiny House Village.
And this is the drug house right here for people that do drugs.
What?
The drug house? The drug house? So, Seattle, Washington, you guys got a built-in trap house in your tiny house community. You guys got the Carter from New Jack City. Is that what this is right here? A crack house? I ain't seen a crack house since 1988. 2026 with a crack house and a tiny home community is crazy. That's nuts. Let's start from the top, shall we? With this tiny home community featuring crack house in the very front.
Inner Bay Tiny House Village.
And this is the drug house right here for people that do drugs.
What?
So you can come do your drugs. If you're going to do Fetty or something, you come in here and do it. No animals are allowed. And you come in there to do your Fetty. Nobody says anything or anything. And Narcan's up here, but
What about foil? Are they passing out supplies
No.
to do it?
No.
You gotta get that your own. Wow,
No.
what a depressing. Look at this chair. It's like a suicide tank.
heater. Usually it's full of people.
Really?
Yeah, it's the end of the month. So everybody's running out of money.
Oh boy.
It's funny because the drug dealers or something, they're in there smoking with people. Nobody's in their room doing fentanyl. They do it there and have a problem. There'll be somebody around close that can deliver the Narcan.
What we saw was a fentanyl smoking room. We see dealers are your neighbors. Taxpayers are funding dealers to be housed for free.
A taxpayer-funded crack den. Well, not crack den. A taxpayer-funded fentanyl farm. Yeah, a Fetty farm. A taxpayer. That's the key I can't get over. Taxpayer-funded Fetty farm. Hey, to my Washington State residents, Seattle West residents, how do you guys feel about your taxpayer-funded dope house, dope community? Okay. What's a better way to say it? Drug enthusiast village. Is that what we're talking about right here? Okay. Addict care facility. Is that what this is?
For as long as they want until they get caught. I mean, is that right or wrong?
Well, it's society. It's every there ain't no kids here.
Is this out of sight, out of mind?
Right.
That's what this is out of sight, out of mind.
I asked the elected officials, do you know that the tiny house villages have a dedicated tiny home built by volunteers to be used as a fentanyl smoking shack with Narcan provided, chairs for the dealer and the user to use together? If that's the case, we need to be honest about what these villages are, and that is safe consumption sites. And I say safe sarcastically. But call it what it is. We're allowing drug use inside the villages, and we're offering them a tiny house to do it. Is that what we're signing up for? Is that what we're spending millions of dollars to do, is to set up these tiny house villages in every nook and cranny of our neighborhoods? No.
And you know what? There's a message being sent there. There is a message being sent. Hey, do you smoke crack? Do you smoke fentanyl? Well, come to Seattle. We got all the resources. We give you a house. It's taxpayer funded. And you get the drug dealer right there. So you don't got to be out all hours in the night trying to find it, trying to score, trying to just be in a dark alley. Go to your neighbor's house. Hey, you got some of that stuff? And load right up. Beam to Scotty. Man, RIP Seattle. I would, no way, Jose. We are not doing that. Not on my watch. Okay. Now, this is going to be the plane crash out there, Air Canada. I know I'm running low on time. I'm sorry. All right. I might say a little while longer tonight because I got limited time. But if it's trigger alert, trigger warning. If you don't want to look at this, I understand. But this is the crash out there. The Air Canada jet that landed on the runway in LaGuardia and collided with the fire truck. I guess it was a bunch of a cacophony of errors, if you will. the air traffic control gave clearance to the truck to go, but told it to stop before it crossed the runway. I'm not sure if the truck heard them, if they just ignored them. I don't know what happened, but they already sent them off and the truck just kept going. Now, there should have been a transponder on the truck that would have let the plane know that it was crossing right there, and maybe they could have avoided the collision. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. There was a breakdown in communication, and two pilots, the pilot and the co-pilot, died, and there are many others injured, like 40 or so injured. Now, from what I'm able to hear, nobody on the fire truck died, which is crazy. Try getting T-boned by an airplane going very fast on the runway and don't die in a fire truck. Anyway, here we go. And those planes are going very fast. They're not going as fast as what they would be in the air necessarily, but they're going very fast on the ground when they're trying to land and trying to stop. Now, thank God there was no passengers killed as of yet, I don't believe. I think some are still in the hospital trying to recover, but none of the passengers died. And you could tell that God was working at least a little bit here, because there was a flight attendant strapped to the jump seat, which is like right on the cockpit, outside of the cockpit. And when the crash happened, she was ejected from the plane, flew several feet in the air, and she was found still trapped into the chair, and she was okay, relatively. I suppose she had minor injuries, but she did not die. Thank God for that. But RIP to the pilot and the co-pilot. This appears to be a mistake and something that they might want to learn from. Maybe the only thing that could have been done differently is put the transponders on the fire truck, and maybe the fire truck did not hear when the people were trying to say stop, 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 or maybe they ignored them. I don't know, but either way, very, very tragic. Okay. Now, here's somebody who was on the actual plane. All right, let's check it out.
We went down for a regular landing. We came in pretty hard. We immediately hit something, and it was just chaos from there. About 5 seconds later, we had come to a stop, but in that short period, I mean, everybody was hunkered down and everybody was screaming. Pretty quickly, we didn't have any directions because the pilot's cabin had been kind of destroyed. So somebody said, let's get the emergency exit and get the door in. Let's all jump out, and that's exactly what we did. We went down for a regular.
Yeah, man, like that's got to be something catastrophic to go through. Even if you survive and you're injury free, to go through that is catastrophic. Okay, now look, let me guys show you the plane wreckage, because this right here tells you how bad it was. Look at that right there. So that is the front end of the airplane. It was like a piece of cotton or something, like a Q-tip has been mangled. Okay. That is a jet. That is a commercial jet. That is an airplane that had passengers on it. Okay. That is crazy to see. And from all this wreckage, luckily, the pilot and the co-pilot were the only ones who lost their lives, and that's too many deaths. But it could have been much worse. You could have had this whole front, people right there, the flight attendant that was in the jump seat, and a lot more who lost their lives. So yeah, RIP, and that was in LaGuardia Airport, New York City. Okay, now I'm gonna switch gears a little bit into some of this electric car stuff. Yeah, no, I'm not a big Waymo fan. I'm the biggest Waymo hater in the world. I'm gonna get a tattoo right on my forehead. I hate Waymo right there. A lot of y'all love Waymo. A lot of y'all swear by Waymo because you like the driverless aspect of it. You enjoy the technology, the so-called autonomous technology. Anyway, so here are the Waymo vehicles being charged with a diesel generator. Okay, so I just want to say this. I have no hate against electric vehicles in general as a subgenre of car. I have no hate against them specifically, but I see the downfalls and also the hypocrisy. I don't want anyone saying that it's about going green. Let's not do that. Let's go ahead and ditch that term in 2026, going green. We're talking about EVs and AI and stuff like that, because they still use quite a bit of natural resources, if not more than the old school internal combustion engine and whatnot. But let's watch. So we got diesel generators charging the electric Waymo vehicles. Okay, we just kind of going around the elbow to get to the high parts. That's all. That's all we doing, really, because it's like, okay, how about just put gas in the tank? You're using gas to charge the battery. Just put gas in the tank. You take an extra step. But I get it. We got to be green and stuff like this, right? Okay, no problem. No problemo. I got to come to LA right in the Waymo. Well, okay, now where am I going? Where am I going? Am I going to the crack? Am I going to breeze through a crack village? What I don't want is for the Waymo to take me to a crack village and dump me off. Okay, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to be what happens to me. Okay, now, okay, here's something else I want to show. McDonald's. Now, McDonald's, they are so tuned into no customer service up front, no human beings up front. They're so dedicated to the technology, to the app, and to the kiosk. There's no menus up front. No menus up front if you go inside. Let's watch.
Yeah, it's over. McDonald's, they don't want any interaction. They took the whole menu off of the screen. They want you to order here. The robots are taking over. It's over. They say don't bother our employees, our 2 employees that we have. It's over. Yeah.
I mean, the thing about it is McDonald's is not a very desirable job, and they feel like, you know what? Let's just hire the robots instead. Now, McDonald's could be a desirable job if there was no minimum wage getting in the way, right? Because that's kind of like the problem. But you get minimum wage, $1,000 an hour. Okay. As I've said before, as anybody could have predicted, rather than hiring a human being for that, they'll see how much it costs to replace the human with a robot. And here we are. Here we are. It don't take much time. If you had a low minimum wage or no minimum wage, then it would be a job that somebody could get. They could go in there and get some money. But because we got 15 an hour, 20 an hour, 30 an hour, okay, well, the machine won't have to get paid a certain wage. The machine will not have to get certain rights and benefits and insurance and all kinds of stuff. Let's just buy that. And over the course of a few years, the cost will be lower than the human being. That's the objective here. That's what's going on. All right. You'd rather not eat. Personally, I'm a guy that still goes to the grocery store. I'm that guy. I'm in the store 2 or 3 times a week. They know who I am. Hey, how you doing? You want the same thing? Yeah. Let me get some of this fish. Let me get some of that beef. I'm a super healthy guy. Today, like my meal today, y'all know what I do. I do my brown rice, grilled salmon. I had 2 hard-boiled eggs, avocado, tomato. I feel like $1 million. And that's 1 meal a day. 1 meal a day, I'm good. I feel great. I feel energized all throughout the day. I'm not going to McDonald's to have an android serve me high fructose corn syrup and soybeans. I don't want that. You know, respectfully, if I'm about to starve to death and it's right there, I'm going to get it. Like when I drove from Virginia to Tennessee, 16 hours, and I got to like Knoxville area and I was about to just be done. McDonald's came through for me. That salt, sugar, fat, all of that, it put a little bit of something in me, you know? It put a little bit of something in me. It was either do some drugs, which I don't do, or some soybeans, high fructose corn syrup, salt, fat, sugar. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that. But to eat that normally, I'm good. I'm good. Now, look. Okay, before I continue, the cornhole champion. You guys wanted me to do this. This guy right here with nubs for arms and legs has been charged with murder after shooting his friend in the car that he was driving. Yes, he was driving. How? Hey, I can't call it. This guy done everything else. Cornhole champion. He done shot rifles, guns, a crossbow, if I'm not mistaken. He's done quite a bit. So to do what he did is not outside of the possibility. All right, let's get a little bit of sound here. Moroccan sardines. I'm gonna try them out, Dens early. Now, are these in the can, like canned sardines, or are they fresh? If they canned sardines, all I'm gonna taste is salt. If they're fresh, it won't be as bad.
Weber was featured by ESPN a few years ago, highlighting his success as a competitive cornhole champion. Now, after the incident last night, he is a murder suspect accused of fatally shooting a passenger in his car while driving through a small town in Maryland. Local authorities alerted by 2 witnesses who were passengers in the back seat, revealing a well-known name locally as the suspect.
There's been many news stories done about him, and a lot of people are very familiar with him.
That being said, the prior news stories, all positive.
Yes, yes.
Not only did he allegedly fire the gun, he's also driving the car. What do you know about those circumstances on how he can even accomplish this?
What I would say is that his accomplishments and capabilities have been well documented on the internet. There's a YouTube channel and a lot of stories out there about what he is capable of doing. And we would urge anybody who has questions to just look at his name and look at the videos.
Here are more of those videos. He competes as a pro in the American Cornhole League. He has been a quadruple amputee since he was a child. At 10 months old, he was given just a 10% chance to live. To save his life and stop a deadly sepsis infection from spreading, doctors amputated both of his arms and legs. As for the shooting, authorities ultimately found a body dumped in a yard. Weber across state lines in Virginia. He is now facing a first-degree murder charge.
So it happened in Maryland, in Charles County, Maryland, and he went to Charlottesville. I don't know if he's from there. I don't know why you went there, bro. Why would you go to Charlottesville? That's kind of very specific. Were you trying to escape West Virginia, go up in the mountains and escape? I don't know what's going on. But, yeah, that's what he did. Okay. And here is the guy shooting. Here he is loading a handgun with no hands. Imagine that. Loading the handgun with no hands and shooting the handgun with no hands. Okay.
Let me get your phone.
Okay, so there's no hands here. He has no hands. But he loaded and shot a handgun multiple times. So, if you're wondering, how can the guy with no hands shoot a handgun? He did it some kind of way. Hey, you know what? You're talented, but unfortunately, you did some crazy stuff. Now you're going to the penitentiary. Hey, hopefully them nubs can make big rocks little rocks, because what you're going to be doing. All right, you could do all that. Can you make big rocks little rocks? I don't know. But there we go. And I know it's a crazy transition, but somebody said I should, Phoenix said splurge once in a while and cook a grass-fed filet mignon. Listen, I had a filet mignon recently. I go to this spot. It's like a Chili's, but it's called Miller's Ale House. Shout out to Miller's Ale House. You guys have great food. Great, affordable, and in my opinion, you can find some healthy options. If you want to be a bit back, you can at this place. You could get butter fried bacon and cheese with, just the biggest and backest of stuff. If you want, you can eat 2,000 calories on GP in one setting if you want to, or you could get something very healthy. What I got that day, I got the filet mignon, medium rare. It was so good. A little bit salty, a little bit too much of that, but it was good. Some wood-fired shrimp, some cilantro rice, and some broccoli. Oh, my Lord. That right there. Now, I paid a pretty penny. It was like $40 with tax and tip and all of that. That was kind of expensive. That's a lot. For me, that's a lot. Normally I don't do that. If I get a piece of fish, salmon or something like that, fresh, it's like $15 to $20. If I want some wild caught or semi-wild caught, and that'd be enough for 3 days. So $40 for one meal is a lot, but it was amazing. So shout out to the filet mignon. If you can get filet mignon, yeah, get that in your life for sure. Yeah, occasionally. Okay. Do I have one more before I keep on going here? Okay. There we go. I got one more. Speaking about food, about the food stamp program. Let's watch some of this here. This is going to be on CNN. And after this, we're going to get to some calls and super chats and whatnot.
Well, Abby, I think it's a mistake to sit here and say that the food stamp program makes Americans better off. In 2000, there were only 17 million Americans on food stamps. Today, there are 42 million of them, 4 million of whom are refugees or migrants in this country. They have TPS or refugee status. It doesn't matter. I don't think it's a good measure of the economy that more and more Americans rely on the government. What I think...
I'm going to stop right here. I didn't know it was going to be James Fishback talking, because James Fishback, okay... Briefly about James Fishback, whatever he's saying right here, it could be true, it could be false, it don't matter, because James Fishback is, how can I say this? In my opinion, this man right here, James Fishback, is a troll, a spy, someone who should not be trusted. To be clear, this guy is running for governor of Florida, I believe. He's trying to do that. But his background is shaky. He's shaky. And he comes off fake like he's a police officer, an undercover cop. Now, look, one thing that he's talking about right now that's making his rounds around the internet is trying to tax OnlyFans in Florida, like a sin tax, 50% tax for OnlyFans people. James Fishback, how you going to do that in Florida, bro? Don't you understand that anybody that has any money that you'd be able to get from this could just leave because they work online? They work online. There's no OnlyFans office they work at in Florida, bro. That's just not where it's at. Wherever they are is wherever they're going to work. They could be anywhere in this world doing what they do. So how are you going to be able to tax them? You're just trying to get some attention. And ultimately, I can see your face right here. You looking straight like Pee Wee Herman. You're looking like Pee Wee Herman right now, bro. You look like him with the suit and the way your face is. So I already know what's on your phone. If I go through your phone, I'm going to find some crazy stuff. Allegedly. So... no, bro, you're not going to be the governor of Florida or nowhere else. If I got something to do with it, you're not going to get anywhere near politics, James Fishback. I see you for what you are. I see you and your buddy Joe Kent, another one, another spy, another almost cussed. But you are not to be trusted. I see you already. I see you. No, sir, no. James Fishback. Don't listen to nothing that guy says, please. I'm telling you right now. Some of y'all might have seen him, might have got excited. Please. Take my word for it. Don't do it. Okay? So anyway, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We got super chats on deck. Then I may get to the calls. The number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. All righty. And super chats on deck. Let's get to these right quick. Never heard of them. Neckbone McGrizzle. Well, hey, good for you. I'm glad. Keep it that way. I am glad for you. All righty. Let's keep on going. Let's get to Techman Ty, who says, are you going to the Bitcoin conference in Vegas? We need common sense people getting into Bitcoin. Hey, I love to go. I got to go to Vegas sometime soon anyway, so I'm not sure when that is, but I'm going to check it out. Thank you for the heads up there. Thank you to Taylor Langley Fitness, who says, I bike to work every day, about 30 miles. I highly recommend to bike over driving if you can. You get extremely fit and it beats sitting in traffic. And you know what? I wouldn't be against it. Now, my question is, are you going to be sweating and whatnot once you get to work? How does that really work? Thank you because down here it gets kind of hot. It's going to be 100 degrees. You're going to be sweating your hind parts off. Thank you but you know what I would do? If I lived in the city where I could walk, I'd most certainly walk to work. If it was about a 30-minute walk, I'd do that walk. Yeah, all day long. Like I said, when I went to California, I walked like an hour to go to the beach. Because if you guys know about LA, I was in El Segundo, I believe. At that place right there where they got that cava, and I walked from there to Manhattan Beach. I think that's what I did. Let me see how far that is. Yeah, so it was El Segundo. What's the name of that? It was Cava. Okay, so I'm gonna try to like chart it right here. Okay, Manhattan Beach, the pier, like all the way down. So walking is like 45 minutes. Yeah. That's pretty much what I did. I went straight down Rosecrans. From that. So I went from, what's the name of this? This is Sepulveda and Rosecrans down to Manhattan Beach. So I don't mind walking. I enjoy walking a long distance. An hour, 2 hours is nothing. I could do that all day long. Okay, let's keep on going. Thank you to Gerono, who says, thanks, ABL. Keep it going. Love those flags behind you. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. I'm trying to find a vendor who could do these flags. I called a few of y'all, and, you know, the phone ain't, you know what I mean? The phone ain't phoning. Let's get it done. Come on now. Thank you to Mauricio, who says, the amount of people that I know as an engineer who are building bunkers were all behind. Hey, I already know it. I know guys that got bunkers and they've been had bunkers. Thank you to Mike A, who says, how you going to get shot by the starfish from SpongeBob? That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, thank you to the Whites Man, who says, love the show. Thanks, ABL. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to the Whites Man for gifting 10 ABL memberships. I appreciate you for that, boss. And I saw those pop up when I was talking. So shout out to you, the White Man. I appreciate you for your memberships. Thank you to Lothair, who says, Trump lied to us. No new wars, bad president. Thank you to Taylor Angley Fitness, who says, I wouldn't be surprised if those influencers flew into Cuba, filmed their TikTok clip, and immediately hopped right back on the first plane out. Oh, yeah, for sure. Because why would you want to stay there? Why would you want to stay there in that kind of environment? The people who live there don't want to stay there. So why would you? Thank you to Get Off My Lawn 10, who says, when 2028 rolls by, I have a feeling that Rubio will be kissing that wall in Israel while Vance stays in the U.S. If so, I'll definitely vote for Vance in the 2028 Republican primaries. Okay, that's fine. But he going to lose. So, but I appreciate you. Now, here's my question, though. See, that's a really good point you bring up. Do you think there's going to be a face-off in the primary of Rubio against JD Vance? I don't think that's going to happen. But how about y'all? Is that going to be a thing where in the primary you have JD Vance and Marco Rubio? And if you have JD Vance and Marco Rubio in the primary, who are you going to vote for? I'm just asking you guys. No poll. Just asking, what do y'all think? All right, let's keep on rocking and rolling. These flags were custom made. I had a vendor at one point that would do these, but he got way overwhelmed and just couldn't do it anymore. So I'm trying to find a new vendor that can do it, but people are overwhelmed. It's like, if you want to work right now, if you have the capacity or ability to work right now, you can make all kinds of money. Okay, you can make all kinds of money. The AI is willing to work, and that's why it's making a bunch of money off of us, unfortunately. But if you want to do things, if you want to produce physical things in this world, you can make a lot of money right now in 2026. Okay. AKM says there'll be 20 candidates in the primaries, and neither Vance or Rubio will become the candidate. Okay, AKM, that's a bold prediction. So if not Vance or Rubio, then who? If not Vance or Rubio, then who? Who's Ron DeSantis? Who do we have, actually? And nothing against DeSantis. I think he's a great governor, but who's it going to be? Bill Lee in Tennessee? I don't really know. Anyway, let's keep on rocking and rolling here. Let's get to the calls. The number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287 is the number to call. And the phone lines are open. Let's get rocking and rolling. And again, thank y'all for joining. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. A lot of Vance in the chat. Okay, y'all like Vance? Y'all like JD Vance? Okay. AOC, that's on the other side. That's not on our side. I'm talking about in the Republican primary, not the Democratic primary. Trump Jr.? Nah, come on. Come on, Bob K. MIT, not Trump Jr. Darren says we need Rubio for other stuff. Okay, like governing, like running the nation, like doing a good job. What would JD Vance be able to do that Rubio cannot do? 603 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
What's up, ABL? It's Josh over in New Hampshire. What's up, man?
Not so much, man. What's happening?
What's happening? So I just cannot agree with you anymore about Waymo, electric vehicles. The world is just not ready for AI vehicles, for electric vehicles, especially electric vehicles. A quick story for you, man. I was a mechanic back at Buick GMC in 2016. 10 years ago, I asked two of our best salesmen, hey, what do you think about EVs and, what do you think is going to happen with them? They both laughed at me. They were like, there's no resale for that. There's no way. You can't resell those things. They depreciate so quickly. There's just no way. And come to find out, it's true. 1 year of ownership of an EV, 50% of its value is just gone forever. It's like, well, that was a waste of my investment. No, that was a terrible idea. And they keep saying, there's the biggest upsell, like you just said earlier, but it's green, Yeah, but you're using diesel generators to charge them up. Like, the world's just not ready. On paper, like, in racing, for instance, like for 24 hours of Le Mans or the last race we had, the 12 hours of Sebring, okay, fine. It's so good in racing. That's just short term. Long term, though, they just don't work. And one other quick story, man. When I was working at Nissan, there was a 7-year-old Nissan Leaf that we had, fully charged. The battery cells were just completely gone. That is said for a range 75 miles, fully charged. Just 7 years old this car was. It's like unbelievable. There's no room for EVs at all. You can't resell them. It just doesn't work, and I'm sorry. And, of course, with spontaneous combustion, look up the several lawsuits that Tesla's got going on, it can't work, man. And you're right. AI, though, those cars, I wouldn't get on a plane with no pilot on it. Why the hell are you getting in a car with no driver in it? It doesn't make sense to me, man. It doesn't. There's no room for it. You're absolutely right. But in the broad spectrum of things, no, thank you. I'll stick to gasoline and diesel. I'm good. So, anyway, that's all I got for right now.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thanks.
Hey, that was perfectly said. Very well said. 909, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is Larry in Arizona.
All righty, what's happening?
Well, what's happening? Good show so far.
Thank you.
I like the fact that you covered so many different topics tonight. It was very interesting. Very interesting. Basically, all I really wanted to say was that there are so many people in this country that are under anesthesia almost. They're completely out of alignment with what is reality. I grew up in the 50s and 60s, and things were as they had been for a long time. Like in school, the methods that were used to teach kids in schools in the 50s and 60s were methods that had been used since the turn of the century. And it worked. I mean, I don't have to take off my shoes to count past 10. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I can do math in my head, and that's because I learned it in school. These people that are coming out of school now and also in the past 20 years, really, they can't hit their butt with both hands when it comes to math. And math is an extremely important thing. They have no idea what's going on in this world. And they better wake up. They better wake up, because there is a group of people out there who want to destroy everything that this country has built. They want to put us back into the 1400s, where nobody has anything and nobody's going to be happy about it. And that's their goal. They want to put us all back into the ancient times so they can subjugate us all. And they better wake up. They better wake up. Because if they don't, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad.
Right on, man.
I don't know. I don't know what you're seeing in the area that you live in. Where I am in Arizona, it's not too bad right now. We see a few people from foreign countries here in this particular location, but they're not right out front like they are in New York City or Los Angeles or, other places. But this whole thing of praying in the middle of Times Square, and these loudspeakers broadcasting what they feel is their right to do, it's not good, man. It's not good, and people better wake up to it.
Absolutely.
Are you seeing any of that kind of stuff in the area where you are?
Now, where I am, there's none of that going on. It's all good here.
Well, that's good. That's real good. But anyway, that was just basically what I wanted to say. Was wake up, people, wake up. Come out of the anesthesia, because it's going to get bad if you don't.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Same to you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. Let's go to 859 on the line. What's we could do?
All right. I'm just joining the show, relaxing. What's up with you, ABL? It's your Luciferian Libertarian friend. How's it going?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Right across the street? Right on it. Okay, then. Sorry, I'm driving a friend at the same time listening to your show. I was listening, man. I'm going to be honest with you. Going through airports with TSA, it's annoying. So if anybody could do a better job, it could be them. I'm just saying.
Okay, I got you. I mean, I understand that you can. Now, where do you normally take off from? Like a big airport, like a smaller one?
Usually I go to Louisville to go to American. But it's a lot of the airports, man. They act like they act like they're on drugs. The TSA, they act like they don't want to be there, and it's frustrating. So I think anybody could do their job better. Even though I think immigration should do immigration, but hey, you got people in office don't know what they're doing and not paying the TSA agents.
Right, of course.
But it's ridiculous that we have to replace TSA with ICE, and that's how bad TSA is. I swear, I've been through the airports too many times. They oddly enough question my father a little too much because he looks a little Arab, but I can't help that, brother. I can't help that. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And I disagree with the whole Iran war for obvious reasons. I'm just not a fan of it. Like, I liked Trump back in 2016, the whole pro-gun, lower taxes. The man was an American. It's just recently with the whole war stuff, it's feeling like Clinton. It's feeling like Bush. It's feeling like Obama again. That's how I view it is, man. It's like the same like song and dance with the oil and such, and the weird timing with the Epstein list. Odd timing. I'm not exactly say he exactly is just the only guilty one in the party. I think almost everybody is. It's a lot of dirt, and it's kind of crazy to my opinion, brother.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Hey, I got my doubts, man. But you know what? Hey, thank you very much for taking my phone call, ABL. Much appreciated. But and you keeping up the 1 day a meal day. That is awesome, dude. I was keeping it up for about over a year until recently when I had to switch jobs, man. When I had to switch my schedules, man. It's really hard, bro. It really is.
Hey, it's a lifestyle. Once you get used to it, you're just used to it.
Hey, I'm not joking with you. Ever since I started doing that 1 meal a day, and listen to me, guys, your metabolism prepares itself. It's actually damn good for you. I'm sorry for cussing, but it's actually good for your health. And for a amount of time, I don't eat as much. I'm not 300 plus pounds. I'm not a major alcoholic anymore. I still toke, but I am not eating like junk food like I used to, man. It was me, you, and a few other of my friends who encouraged me into eating better. So thank you very much, ABL.
No problem, man. Anything I can do for you, I got you.
Hey, I got you, bro. I just wish that the FBI director could get his head out of his butt and actually arrest people who are on the Epstein list. But hey, I mean, I can wish and pray, bro. Sadly.
Right on, man.
All right. Talk to you later. Much love.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. All right. Shout out to him. Shout out to you guys for being here. I most certainly appreciate you. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good. Yeah, 1 meal a day is perfect. That's what I do. It's a lifestyle. And like I said, today I had 1 meal. I'm super energized. I've been up all day. I'm good. You get your proper sleep, your proper diet, you're going to be good. 236 online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how's it going? It's Hoop Fix. You might have saw me in the comments here. We talked before.
All right, man. What's going on?
Hey, I just want to kind of like update. I did sometimes I like to transcribe like the live if like I call or something. I talk to somebody, and I kind of look back at our conversation about the Venezuela stuff. You know, I just feel like we can agree to disagree, but I did notice like I don't know if it's a fallacy or something, but you did say something about I'm kind of like your cousin or like your little cousin or something. Like I'm like you kind of disqualified me in it, but I wasn't trying to debate with you, bro. Like I was actually trying to like talk about the real issues, you know?
So I don't remember the conversation, so I don't know what you're talking about. Respectfully.
I understand. Obviously I would remember because I'm just a caller, right? You have a show all day, so I understand. But I'm just saying like, listen, I used to mess with like Trump, you know, in 2016. I didn't really know much about what he was doing. 2020 loss, obviously, I felt like the voting was not fair at the time. And then this year, I don't know, like he's getting a lot of his way. He's having his way in 2024. And I was like, okay, he's better than Kamala. But honestly, man, like it's kind of been a disaster, bro. And like, it's kind of hard to see people I've watched over the years, you know, like yourself. And like, I kind of hear these takes you make and I understand where you're coming from, but I just see it like completely different. Like, I don't know how you get to the conclusion with some of the things, like even some topics you said in the show today.
Okay, so give me an example of things that you said that you don't agree with.
Well, for example, there's the one story of the woman who is unalived, right? From that, I guess he got charged, I think, or I'm just saying there's no court case. We don't know what happened. It could have just been an isolated incident, but we shouldn't just like take that and say, oh, he was undocumented, so let's now look at all the immigrants the same in that lens. Or
I don't understand. So are you saying that he didn't do it? Like I don't get it. What are we saying?
It wouldn't matter if this happened or not. What I'm saying is, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, but like we don't know much about the case. It's not even a case yet. And even if it was an undocumented person, that doesn't mean that the majority of people who end up getting good jobs and stuff and working class people, they're just maybe undocumented for whatever reason, right? I can't blame the immigrant for that. And it's actually benefiting society at the end of the day. So I can't just say one isolated violent incident is all people. Just arrest the guy. He should be in jail if he did it, right?
So look, watch this.
It's not an immigration issue.
So watch this though. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question and I want you to give me yes or no. So if the guy was not here, could he have committed the crime?
No.
There we go. So that's my point.
He would have possibly committed the crime wherever he was at, right?
Exactly. But look though. You said that he would not have committed the crime here, wherever he was at. But if you're going to commit crime somewhere else, that's on them to do with. What we got to do with it? You see my point?
I agree. I agree with that, and I've heard that too. Some people just say, "Well, he should still be arrested in America." I mean, that's different. You got to deal with that country, but then how do you know which country that guy's from? Because he's undocumented, right? Like, it's just his word. Like,
it said Venezuela. I'm sure that
he could say nothing.
Okay, I think that they are able to determine your country of origin at a certain point once you get arrested. You know, it's probably a database that they know kind of what's going on. They're not just going to say from Venezuela.
Yeah,
and that's not where he's from.
Find out and they'll deal with the government. Yeah.
Yeah. So 100%. I mean,
but all I'm saying is that some of I understand, but it could become like rhetoric or like rhetorical when it becomes like, you're in that reporter after in that story. He went to, I'm not sure who was, probably a Democrat in the White House or something, or Capitol. And he's like, hey, did you hear about this case? He's like, I'll look into the case, which is the perfectly like normal response because there is no case yet. Right. So we can't speak. But when people say, undocumented, then they start looking at all the hot topic of ICE and whether it's justifiable what they're doing or not in their conduct. And yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just kind of like I just like to look at the facts, bro. I don't like to debate, man. I just like to pick your brain and see, because my ideas have totally changed, man. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. Well, hopefully you're able to.
I appreciate your,
yeah.
I appreciate your point of view because it's giving me a lot of clarity. I like to diverse my media and anyone in chat, anyone watching, watch ABL, but watch other opinions and just look for yourself and look into things, you know, and
Sir, I don't need you to tell them anything about what they should do. And also, listen, Listen now. I also tell everybody, don't believe whatever I say. Do your own research. Okay? Do your own research.
You do that, you say.
I do say that. So I got you, bro. You only got to do that. I'll take care of this, but I appreciate your effort.
Yeah, man. Have a good day, man.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate it. All right. My man's like, yo, I'm gonna give you guys a message. ABL gang, I'm gonna give you guys a message. Just like, all right, sir. Thank you for the call, but you don't gotta do all that. But yeah, seriously, I do say do your own research. Like that's the whole point. I'm a resource you can use. Yes. Do your own research. But bro, if you have an illegal alien committing the crime here, it doesn't matter if they were committing crimes while here as an illegal alien. If they were not here, then the crime couldn't have been committed here, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know nothing. Okay, let's go 248. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, yes, ABL. John, how are you?
I'm doing well. About yourself? Can you hear me?
Girl on. Put a girl on.
What are we saying? Like, what are we talking about? Come on now. Like, let's not be weird on the phone. Anyway, I'll be here for a little while longer. The number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. Put a girl on. Like, what are you talking about? Like, let's you know what I mean? Let's get it together now. Come on, let's not be weird. Let's not be weird at all. All right. And again, shout out to you guys again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. All right. AKM says, yo, I didn't know we could watch other YouTubers. Yeah, hey, AKM, that's brand new news. I didn't know we could do that. I didn't know we could just watch other things. You know, you don't gotta just watch one channel. You know, you can actually channel surf or do whatever you want. You know, you could just do things. You could just open your phone and search something and watch whoever you want to watch or find whatever you want to find. Okay. But shout out to my man earlier for dropping that knowledge on the ABL squad. You know what I mean? Hey, mind blowing, right? You can watch other things. I'm just playing with you, bro. Thank you for your call. But that, I think, might be a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys for being here. Hold on. I got a call right. Hopefully it's not a troll. Okay. Let's go. 309 in the line speaker too.
Hey, you just turned up on my YouTube. Like, I'd never seen your channel before. So I have a question that I'd like to ask the man on.
Go ahead.
The screen. What do you think is going to happen next? Like, things are obviously changing. So this is a smart guy. So what does he think is going to happen next?
As far as the Iran war?
As far as everything, I'm not trying to be a smart aleck or anything.
Be specific with your question.
What's my specific question? Is I want to hear what this guy thinks is going to happen next.
Why we gotta play it on the phone, man? Like, come on. Like, okay, you say the question is what's going to happen next with the Iran war? Nah, this in general, what's going to happen next? Give me a more specific question. Be clear with your question. Be specific with your question. What's going to happen next? I ain't got time to play games, man. Let's give me a specific question or stop playing on my phone. But yeah, I'm gonna just answer a question about Iran since I'll be specific since he wasn't. I think it'll last for a while, but by summertime, it definitely should be over, but I hope it'll be over before then. So it shouldn't take too much longer. Okay. I'm going to do one more. It better not be a troll either. 732, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
What's up, ABL? It's Rich from New Jersey. I figured I'd give you a normal call for the last call of the night. I agree with you on Rubio, totally. I mean, you know, as far as what they're capable of, probably be pretty even if put under pressure, but I like Rubio better. Just is what it is.
I agree with you, man, 100%.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of good things going for him, and I like that Trump's testing him, you know?
Absolutely. Very, very well said, because Trump is testing them, putting them through a lot of different things, giving them tasks, and he's knocking them out the park. So very good performance.
Dude, coming out looking like a star, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. And yeah, that is funny that he's going to be the first under 6 foot president, right?
Hilarious.
Yeah, it is what it is, though. You know, it just proves that height don't mean shit.
Hey, there you go. If you got performance on the job, hey, that'll get you in the door every time.
That's what I'm saying. And as far as like kids not knowing what's up today, I think I'm about your age. And I think that the problem is you and I, we were like the last generation to learn how to think. And now they're just taught what to think.
Exactly. They're just like programmed, like brainwashed. And then when you try to break through the programming, it's like trying to convince a machine to not operate the way a machine does. It's crazy.
I know. It's yeah, because it's so ingrained in them, you know, and it starts at an early age, you know, and it's hard to break that kind of whatever training, I guess you would call it, or whatever.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah, that's crazy. But you keep doing what you do. You do the Lord's work, brother, and you have yourself a good night, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. And shout out to you guys as well. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All righty. I think that will be a wrap. Great call to end it on. A regular call. Not someone saying, hey, what is your thought about life? Give me a whole book in 1 minute. Anyway, you guys have been great. Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to everybody who was on the Instagram live last night. And I'm back live again on Saturday. Same bat time, same bat channel, 8 p.m. Eastern time to right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is also an audio streaming podcast you're listening to right now. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Google Play, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or visit your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. All righty. Did I get everybody on the super chat? Let me see if I did it or if I didn't. And before I wrap it up, shout out to everybody for watching, retweeting, super chat, and whatever you do. You know, I could not do the show without you. Thank you to the mods for keeping the trolls in check as well. I appreciate y'all for that. I got all the super chats here. So that will be a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys. I'll be back tomorrow putting out pre-recorded content. Any tips, any requests? A lot of y'all send me requests. You can hit my email or just hop on the IG live, or even right now, if you wanted to say anything during the stream, let me know. But that will be a wrap for me. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.